Welcome back to the Fraud Street Fandom Podcast. On this week's episode, we will be covering results of Week 3 of the NFL. We'll put some predictions together for Week 4. Go over. I think we only had one series of the Phillies since we talked last, so we'll
Yep.
kind of cover that and kind of what we're looking forward to over the last week of the season. We'll get into some of the NFL changes. We had some injuries and some cuts, things like that. How does that impact the Eagles? And then, baseball wise, how's this last week going to kind of what do we think is going to happen over this last week?
Mhm.
Um, and then get into our kind of fantasy updates. This is the final week for our fantasy baseball, so the championship rounds will kind of divulge who made it and who's fighting for that trophy, and then kind of give an update on football.
Yep.
So for this episode, we actually have one of our listeners getting married this weekend, so we're both going to the wedding, and one of our friends from Alaska actually flew into town, so he's staying with us, and he was kind enough to bring us some beers from the 49th state, one of which is actually the 49th State Brewing. So we have a couple of these we're probably going to enjoy later. And then the other brewery he brought over was Denali Brewing from Talkeetna, Alaska. I know I probably butchered that, but yeah, I'll enjoy this red ale and then jump over to the blonde ale. What do you got, Cam?
Yeah. Denali Brewing Twister Creek IPA. I'm a big IPA guy. So always enjoy them. And then I also have one of the 49th Solstice IPA. So that's what I'll be drinking on today.
So shout out to Justin for you know delivering across the country.
Yeah. Check out our reach on our podcast. We're all the way out in Alaska.
Yeah, there you go. So what you guys may also notice, especially the people watching, Brock's not with us tonight. He got held up at work, so we'll try to do our best to fill his shoes and try to make sure that this episode succeeds. So
Yep.
I know he'll probably be listening and chiming in when he can. So yep,
Yeah. And next time you guys eat some chicken, make sure you thank Brock.
yeah, chicken, especially downstate. Yep, Brock's the one that makes it happen.
Yep.
So yeah, let's get into it. So baseball. So last we talked, we were about to go into a series with the Diamondbacks, team contending for the playoffs. We just finished up 2 or 3, taking 2 or 3 from the Dodgers.
Yep.
So again, you're going again up against another playoff contender. Game one, it was a Taiwan game, Taiwan Bueller game,
Yeah.
Taiwan Walker Bueller game. The bats come alive, kind of following the tradition that they had in LA and with clutch hits and stuff. So, he gives up a home run early. We go down 2-0. Pitches good, solid 4 innings though. Gets out of trouble, and then actually was able to put some good innings together.
Yeah.
Bueller comes in, takes over. He pitched 3 and 2/3 innings. He got into a little bit of trouble in the eighth, but Tanner Bakes came in. And he was able to actually get out of the inning. So,
Get it out. Yeah.
at that time we had a pretty sizable lead. But one of the things that stuck out to me was, we kind of talked about it before of who do you trust in the bullpen, especially in situations where, runners are on, inherited runners.
Yeah.
And, instead of putting in Kirk Green or Strom, Rob goes after the guy that I trust at this point. That's Banks. And he comes in and he
Yeah.
gets a huge out there. So um we'll see what that looks like in the playoffs. I mean, it seems like anytime Kirk Green comes in anymore, he's giving up a run,
He gives
whether
up at
it's
least one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating to see because he was supposed to be the guy that you trusted in that seventh inning, that
Yeah.
sixth inning, even potentially the eighth, depending on kind of where everything falls. Um, so we'll see what Banks like, kind of how he falls in the rotation, especially when the bullpen comes. But I just thought it was pretty interesting that you have a big moment there where the game can kind of get
Out of hand. Yeah.
yeah, or
Or get
closer to the
close. Yeah.
yeah. So another note, Casty hits his 250th home run.
The
So
reporters don't know.
but good for him. I mean, at this point, whatever we can get out of Casty that's positive is probably a
Yeah.
good thing. He continues to speak his mind when it comes to communication with Rob Thompson, and it's I I know it can be frustrating. You have multiple media guys that continuously ask you the same question.
Yeah.
You just have to give them a different answer or whatever, or they ask you a different way and you're trying to get the same answer. So
Exactly.
I'm sure it's getting frustrating, but he's basically saying there's no communication, but when you talk to Topper, it's like, no, we communicate all the time. So
Yeah.
it might not just be the communication that, Cassidy wants to hear.
Mhm.
So, but I'll give it to him. Like this platoon that Topper's been running in the outfield has been working.
Yeah.
Kepler's turned it up a little bit. I love Bader in center. I think he's a
Marsh
great
has played a
center.
lot better too.
Marsh has been phenomenal. So having them cycle in and out between righties and lefties so far, it's been working.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that we can talk, a couple months down the road of, these big key additions at the trade deadline. They finally worked.
Yeah.
We go out last year and we try to add, Hayes, and
It was
he just
god
never
awful.
worked out.
Yeah.
And, even guys, the years past of like no one was able to actually produce. And it seems like
Mhm.
Bader's kind of filling that need that we had.
Yeah.
Whereas like you look at other teams and they go make big additions. Edmund last year for the Dodgers, he was a big contributor in the playoffs.
Yep.
Even back to when the Braves won the World Series, their whole outfield was just guys that were guys. It was Jock Peterson, Eddie
Yeah.
Rosario, Jorge Soler. They all paid or played big roles in that
In
playoff
the
run for the
playoff run.
World Series. So I'm hoping the Bader can contribute. He's been doing very well this year, kind of positioning ourselves to get there.
Mhm.
But let's see it when it actually counts.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of iffy on Bader to begin with, just because I never really liked him on the Mets, like, last year
Keep the hate alive, man. I
yeah.
need I need that negativity.
So, I mean, honestly, but I feel like the clubhouse, he fits right in,
Oh,
right?
for
Like,
sure.
there's a
Yeah.
bunch of, like, just random dudes out there, like, they're
Mhm.
just guys you wanna go have a beer with, and I think Bader's just kind of walked himself into the clubhouse. Team likes him, he gets along with everyone, so it's great so
He's
far.
got a swagger to him too, which I
Yeah,
like. Like he's bringing some confidence, and I think the other guys are kind of like feeding off of that, which is good to see. It's a new face, but it's a face that's bringing positive, should we say, vibes.
vibes, yeah. I mean, him and Stubby combined, dude.
Oh yeah, it's
What a
yeah,
duo.
yep,
Stubby was probably like, "Man, I can't wait to have a beer with that guy."
hell yeah.
So
He's probably already got like his custom made overalls for
oh,
him.
for
So I can,
sure.
yeah, just let was it the flow?
Yeah, yeah, his little ginger flow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, they were able to come away with the win, game 1 against Arizona in Arizona. They never really play well in that park. So,
Yeah,
anytime they can get some W's there, it's nice. So, yeah, 8-2 win, which leads us to game 2, Nola versus Gallon. So, Zach Gallen's a guy we're very familiar with just based on, the 2023 playoff run. Like we went up against him several times. It's a good pitcher, and
yeah,
he always tends to pitch us pretty well, especially out in Arizona. So this game was close, kind of back and forth affair, but the offense just couldn't tackle on late to kind of get the edge. So it was a 4-3 loss. Nola was credited with all 4 runs, but it
yeah.
just seems like anymore if they leave him in one inning too long, it
It's
puts the
over.
game away. Right.
It's him and Luzardo both. Like Luzardo has flashes of that too. I mean, Luzardo's most recent start, I think, is where he got kind of touched up early, but he came back like lockdown.
Yeah.
So if you get him out early, it's the same result, right? Like 6, 7 innings, 3, 4, and like every time. But I think that once you see that they're starting to get in trouble, Thompson's just got to be like, all right, time to go, get the
Yep.
pen in, because even though I mean, obviously the pen's not 100% reliable, it's just we know kind of what's going to be out of the starter at that point.
Well, and the good thing too is like when you're getting into playoffs now, you have more options. So
Yeah,
say one of these guys like, and the crazy thing is like, all right, Luzardo gives up 4 runs. I think it was 4 a couple games ago,
yeah, and
and
he's
then he sits the next
22.
22 down. So
Yeah,
you gotta like sometimes let him out of it. Trust
work
the
it. Yeah,
bats will be able to like work their way back in, but you don't like. The problem with Nola is like typically it's like the 5th inning when he's giving up 2 to 4 runs that
yeah,
you only have 3 or 4 innings left to kinda make up for
let's
that.
come back on it. Yeah,
Whereas if Luzardo's given up 4 runs in the 1st inning, now you have 8 innings to where you can kind of build back.
yep,
So and we know Topper, he's not one that has a quick pull either. Like, he'll leave guys in probably if we're leaning one way or the other, probably longer than what
yeah.
they
Then they
probably
should.
should be.
Yeah,
So, but, having Walker Bueller, having, I mean, Taiwan's even pitched pretty well. I don't know if I necessarily trust him in the playoffs, but he might be able to give you a couple innings. But
I'm kind of getting excited to see Walker Bueller. To be honest,
yeah, no,
I think
he's been
he's
pretty
done pretty
impressive.
well as an actual Philly. I
And
think I'm
if
gonna be
you're
excited
only
to see him.
relying on him for 3, 4 innings a game and it's kind of like in that, you know,
Yeah,
3rd inning to 6th inning role, like, yeah, let's go. He's been in that spot before. He he just did it with the Dodgers
yeah.
and,
He can come out of
so
the pen and perform,
yep.
and that's what we're going to be needing. To be
So
honest. So
we'll see him one more time before, the playoffs start. So Yeah, looking forward to that. And then game 3 against Arizona, this was just a shit show. Ranger
Yeah.
didn't look good at all.
No.
Gave up, I think it was 6 earned early, like, 2 the first 2
Yeah,
innings.
there was a grand slam in the 2nd or 3rd inning. Yeah, I don't recall. The Eagles run, so that was
Offense
on
didn't
TV at
show up
that point,
either.
but
Yeah, offense didn't show up either. They didn't put anything on the
yeah.
board until the 8th inning, so, that was just your traditional Sunday loss of, 9-2.
Yep,
So, we lose 2 or 3 to Arizona. That team's fighting for a playoff spot, which leads us to kind of the conversation I think we're gonna have now of, playoffs.
yep,
This last week, there's 6 games left for everybody, basically, and at this point, you have in the final NL wildcard spot the Cincinnati Reds, New York Mets, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So we have history with all of them actually in the playoffs recently, but mostly, obviously more recent. The Mets,
yeah,
playing in City Field, whatever demons they have there, how does that play out? And then Arizona, another team that we were in a playoff run, we ended up losing there as well. It's just I think both of those parks, they don't necessarily play well. So,
yeah,
having home field against either of those teams, if you play them, is definitely gonna be helpful, but you still need to be able to win some games on the road.
yeah, yeah, so, I mean, maybe that's what the Phillies were doing. They were trying to let the Diamondbacks get some Ws to hopefully keep the Mets
Knock them
out.
out. Yeah, knock the Mets out.
So, I mean, the Reds, they won 5 straight, so they're playing good ball right now, and this is the time where you want make a run like the Tigers did last year. Remember, they were down a lot of games in the season and then came in strong at the end of the year, made that postseason push.
Yeah,
So hopefully, since he can kinda keep off the Mets, they currently are ahead of them by the tiebreaker, I think,
yeah,
but they have the same record. So,
and I think the Diamondbacks are 1 game back, if I remember
yeah,
correctly.
they're 1 game. So those 3
So,
teams are separated by 1 game.
yeah. And I
So,
mean, just speaking of the Tigers, it's kind of funny. It's like last year they make the big push. This year they're making the big fall. And, I'm not going to dig too much into this, but Cleveland went from being like 15 and a half games out. They're only 2.5, I think,
yeah,
going into this last weekend. So, that division got really tight and,
I mean
them working their way back into just the playoff picture.
yeah, so looking at it, the Guardians have won 9 straight or 9 out of 10, and the Tigers have lost 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
So there's 8 games right there, right? Like, that's
exactly.
wild, and
So,
you can't be doing that going into the last week of the season.
no, no, not at
So,
all.
we'll
So,
see what can happen there, but
well, and
it
I think the
looks like
Tigers, they just played the Braves. Didn't they get swept by the Braves?
oh, I don't even know
I'm
who
pretty
they
sure over
just
the
played,
weekend they
but
just played the
they've lost
Braves.
6 straight
Yeah.
going yeah,
So
so
that's 2 series right there at least if it unless there was a 4 game there that but yeah, you're putting losses on top of each other and you got
yeah,
a you got a team right on your ass.
yep,
So,
and they start a series.
yeah,
So, they start a series tonight. Guardians are 1 game back from the division.
yeah.
So,
So they can yeah, that'd be fun to watch, and, just speaking of kind of going into our next series, so currently we're playing the Marlins, and then we have Minnesota this weekend. So, everything's set up for us to do, what we need to do. The
yep,
magic number for us to lock in that number 2 bye is 2 games.
yep,
So it's either, a win, 2 wins, or a Dodgers loss combo 2 Dodgers losses.
yep,
So it's right there for the taking. Now, you know, you still would like to be playing well going in. So going into this week, I don't want to see, a sweep one way like we're getting swept by the Marlins, we're getting swept by Minnesota. These are 2 teams you certainly should be taking
absolutely.
5 or
Take care of
6.
business.
Yeah, take 5 or 6 out of it. You can drop 1 game. You can't ever win or you can't ever sweep a series. So, but put yourself in a position to where you got that 2 seed. Everybody's feeling high, everybody's feeling good, and, get ready for whoever you're gonna play after that bye.
Yeah,
So just going into the 3 that we just talked about, the Mets, they have the Cubs, and then they finish up with the Marlins. So the Cubs are also right in the playoff picture.
they're trying to
I'm
keep
sure
the
yeah,
1st wild card because I think San Diego's right on their heels now.
yeah, but they're also probably gonna wanna yeah, like you said, keep them there, but keep the Mets out.
Yeah,
So this is the shot right now of you keeping the Mets just out of the playoffs picture
yeah.
altogether. Um, and then,
Go Cubs, go.
yeah, exactly. Let's go, Kevin. Cubs are elite, I heard, uh,
And they're hearing that all season.
all year long. And the Reds, they have the Pirates, which is a team,
They
other
should
than Skeens,
yeah,
they should be able to just beat up on them. And even with Skeens, if you score 3 runs, more than likely you're probably gonna win the game anyway.
yeah. You
Um,
would hope at that point, at least.
right, and then they have a challenge with the Brewers, but how much are the Brewers gonna play this weekend?
Depends on
Um,
what happens with us. I mean, they're 2.5 on us, and if they keep that lead, then they're gonna keep home field throughout the playoffs,
Mhm.
so they're
Yeah, so
trying to
maybe
keep.
maybe the Reds could help us out a little bit by, giving us that one,
Yeah.
and all that's gonna do is obviously you'll have home field throughout the playoffs, but, now you're playing different teams in the 2nd round.
Mhm.
So instead of matching up with the Dodgers and, I guess it would be the 5 seed or the 6 seed because it's 7.
Yeah, it would be 3, 7 or no, 4, 7, 5, 6.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably butchered that, but either way, it's like
No,
yeah.
it's 3, 6, 4, 5,
Okay, yeah.
and then
And then the
the
1 and the
1
2
and
will
2
play,
have the
yeah.
buys, yeah.
So you might be going from playing the Dodgers to where now you're playing either the Cubs or,
Yeah,
you know so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of seeding that's gonna come into it. Finally, the Diamondbacks, who I think have the toughest road to the playoffs, um, they end with 2 division rivals. They have 3 with the Dodgers and then 3 with the Padres.
oh, wow.
So, talk about, like, hey, your
Yeah,
playoffs started literally last week.
yeah,
Actually, if you think about it, when they played
Friday
us,
when they started
when they
against
started
us.
with us, there's your playoff run right here. You got 3 teams that are in, you have 2 of which are 2nd and 3rd, and I think the Padres are probably record-wise, probably 4th. I don't know if they
They're
passed the
behind they're
Cubs.
behind the Cubs, so they're
Okay, so
yeah.
5, but, yeah, you have, 3 of the top 5 teams this last week to position yourself to be in that final wild card, so
Yeah, the
we'll
Cubs
see.
and Dodgers are tied with record 88-68, and then the Padres are 86 and 71. So,
So, yeah, we'll see if, Trey Turner is able to come back, before the playoffs start. I know he's been taking ground balls and swinging the bat, but, you know, his money maker is his legs, being able to, cause, havoc
having
on the
them.
base run or on the base paths and stuff like that. So, if he's limited just based on the hamstring, like, what does that look like? We saw that early last year when he was hesitant to run, so I'm hoping he can, take some time, take as much time as he needs, but, let's try to get him into some games maybe this
I'd
weekend
like to
against
see him
Minnesota.
Friday,
Yeah, yeah,
get that last series in, play a full game, obviously. But yeah, I think getting him back would be helpful because again, you go right into that week off
yep,
to
exactly.
where they're not playing for another week. So then he would be what, 3 weeks out of not playing baseball.
Yep.
So that's where it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and it seems like just based on the lineup today, like, Harper's sitting out of the lineup today, so I think Topper's gonna kind of give guys days off, like, leading up into this time off just to kind of rejuvenate their bodies and stuff,
Yeah,
so
and I think they said Harper's sick, so I don't know how truthful that is. Like if he actually is sick, like who knows if he just has like a stomach bug or
but
something
it's
like
it's
that. But
he was off yesterday, we had off day yesterday, give him 2 days,
yeah,
hopefully Schwarber and the team can, pull
carry.
a
Yeah,
W, away from the Marlins. So, but yeah, I guess, in other news for baseball, I know we've been talking about this quite a bit throughout the year, but, with horrible umpiring,
yeah,
the ABS, challenge system is gonna be,
and MLB
live
next year.
2026. So, and for those that don't know, like, a batter, a pitcher, and a catcher can all basically challenge a pitch.
Yeah,
And I think you get 2 challenges a game. If you get them right, you can just keep
keep
them. So you
challenging.
keep challenging. So we'll see what that turns into. Hopefully it, keeps these umpires accountable
Yeah,
in a sense of, okay, yeah, like, you're not gonna have the ones that are, like, 6 inches off the plate, hopefully, because
yeah,
those are the ones that are ridiculous. Like, I understand, like, fractions of an inch of just
yeah,
being off, but some of these are just god awful.
yeah. No,
Um,
it's been bad. They like I think we talked about this early in the year. Is that like they're working themselves out of a job, and that's unfortunate, right?
yeah,
Like they're a union, they're going to still be out there on the field, but at the end of the day, like they're slowly working themselves out of the picture
right.
because if you can't do your job at a reasonable performance rate,
Mhm.
then you're gone. And that's what MLB is trying to do because the players are getting frustrated. They're getting like fining players for arguing balls and strikes.
Right.
You're getting them ejected. So fans are pissed. And it's just like, I
Well,
mean,
it's like, if you're not calling the outside part of the plate, the pitcher now has to adjust to where it's
yeah,
like, okay, if I'm not getting the corner, now I have
mhm,
to move it in to where you're more on the plate. They're
yeah,
they're now pitching into, you know, not
the sweet
the
spot
best
their hitters are in.
exactly,
Yeah,
not the best situation. So, having that ability of, I mean, it works vice versa too. If they are getting that outside, they can kind
yeah.
of continue to pitch there, but the batters will adjust. But
Did you hear Walker Bueller's comments on it?
no,
So he was asked, I think it was the day before his first start as a Philly, because he pitched down in the minors with the Phillies,
mhm,
and they asked him about the ABS system. So he actually was, like, very against it, and one thing that he said that I didn't necessarily agree with was that he said that a veteran pitcher should get more strikes from the umps than a rookie pitcher should, which I understand to an extent because, like, oh, it's a tenured guy, like, he knows what the zone
What the
looks like or
strike
what the
zone looks
zone
like.
should be,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, if it's a ball, it's a ball.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Clayton Kershaw or if it's Paul Skeens, like, if it's a ball, it's a ball, right? Like, that shouldn't matter, but I think that when Walker Buehler came out with those comments, it kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but it was just a weird
Yeah.
answer to their question, I
I think
guess.
the detriment to all this and kinda where it all started was whoever put that box up. I don't know if it was
Dude, they
ESPN.
need to fucking get rid
Whoever
of it.
put the box
Oh
up
my
to
god.
where it's like, we can see how accurate it is.
Yeah.
That's what's basically drawn the line to where it's like, "Alright, these guys are terrible."
Yep.
Because before it's like, "Alright, well, he must have saw something, like, I'm looking at it from the screen and, the pitch is 90 miles an hour into the catcher's glove." So
And
it's
then the catchers are framing it to make it look even better,
yeah.
so, I mean, that was the like, when we talked about rule changes, I was like, "Get rid of the damn box on TV," because all you're
Mhm.
doing is just causing arguments, and people hate the umpires even more,
Right, yeah, because it
like,
gives
from
it's, like,
home.
evident, like,
Yeah,
very visual.
yeah,
It's not like the boxes are, like, on the field to where they can see them. It's just,
exactly.
that TV camera's interpretation of what
Yeah,
the box should be.
and I mean,
So,
honestly, like, the umpires do probably get at least, like, 92 is probably like, 92% of the pitches
yeah.
is called correctly, but it's just there's 8% sometimes they get wild out there,
Mhm.
like, it's, like, not even close to the plate, it's like, "What the hell are you looking at, dude?"
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So,
So but no, yeah, we'll see how that plays out, especially, moving into next year and,
yeah,
I know they started in spring training, they did it in the minors this year, so I think they're working out the kinks to where it's, live and ready. So yeah, we have the final exciting week of baseball, and then we'll get into the playoffs. So I think what we're going to do next week is we'll probably look at kind of how we did in our predictions from earlier in the
all-season
year.
predictions, yeah.
See how far off we were, and then put together our own little playoff bracket based on who actually made it. And I think we'll look into potentially doing maybe like a podcast, kind of like a pool
Yeah,
so we can
bracket
get some
challenge
of
type
yeah,
deal.
yeah, exactly. So get some of the listeners in and, beat the pod. See if you guys can outsmart us, which
Yeah,
probably won't take
ain't
much.
gonna be too hard.
So
I mean, the Mets, if they do collapse and don't make the playoffs, I think my prediction is kind of accurate.
oh
If
yeah, yeah,
yeah, so
yeah. So you don't have to pay up that steak dinner.
I already did that,
Oh, you already
but
did that?
yeah,
Nice.
but the point remains the same, is that hopefully the Mets don't make the playoffs.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah,
Like there I don't know, we just talked about it. It's like there's these teams that we have history with, and I'm like, man, I don't really want to face the Diamondbacks, especially after this last weekend. And
yeah,
yeah. So yep. Like I said, exciting things, coming. I'm looking forward to playoff baseball starting.
Red
And
October.
yep, Red October, and we're definitely going to be involved, kind of watching all the series, and just we'll probably have more to talk about other than just Phillies. We'll talk about kind of all the series and how
Yeah,
things are looking. So stay tuned for that, baseball fans. With that said, let's jump right into NFL. So week 3, Eagles Rams. We're coming in 2-0 after, some shaky performances of the offense. Like,
yeah,
the weird thing is week 1 against Dallas, first half, they're moving the ball up and down the field. So we're like, "Oh, this looks great," because the defense was giving the ball like, giving up
yeah,
everything. So and then Kansas City last week, it was still kind of iffy. They were able to come away with a W, but it certainly wasn't impressive. They basically utilized the tush push for any and every opportunity they could.
yeah,
So this game, offense came out horrible again.
yep,
I guess one of the big highlights that kind of came out after was, Lane Johnson goes down with a stinger in the first drive due to a
touch
tush
push.
push. So I'm sure there's going to be lots of people that are kind of like, oh, see, there's your injury.
Yeah,
We should just ban this play. I know some people on this podcast probably would say, let's just ban the damn play. Um, you know, I like the play because they're fucking good at the play.
exactly. They're very, very good at
I
the
think
play.
it's one of those things where, all right, if you can't, y- like, stop it.
Yeah,
Figure out how you can stop it. Draft players to stop it. Come up with a scheme to stop it. I think the gripe this year, which is rightfully so, they're getting away with a lot of false starts. And it
yeah,
seems like it's, the same guys. The guards next to the center, they're jumping early.
mhm.
Um, I thought that they were going to make a big, stink about that this week. They didn't. They
They
got away
didn't
with
at all,
another one.
actually, yeah.
Yeah. So I was surprised that, they didn't have the flags there. So who
The
knows how many more weeks that'll happen before then they start to kind of,
yeah,
come down on it and, penalize them for lots of things because, you have those false starts. You go from that 3rd or 4th and 1, now you're 3rd, 4th and 5. You may
Yeah.
not your offense changes a little bit.
Well, that's the thing that I dislike about the tush push is the offensive theory that they have right now is that we need to get 8 yards within 3
Yeah.
downs.
I love that as an Eagles fan because it's
Yeah, but it's like it changes the whole philosophy because all they're trying to do is get those 8 yards, and then they're like, "Oh, we have this tush push, we're gonna guarantee 1 yard at the end of it if we need, or 1.5, 2 yards."
but think about it this
So,
way too. It's like, you know how, you have the sticks and you have your receivers that are running basically past the sticks to get their routes.
yeah.
Well, they're probably gonna be more inclined to give up anything in front of the sticks because, "All right, we're gonna hold this line." They'll
Yeah.
give AJ that 8 or 9-yard slant or, curl or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, okay, that gives him that 8 or 9. So he's getting the ball without being contested for the most part. Now you're setting up that other play, or he breaks a tackle. And we saw that
Last
the
week,
second
yeah.
half. But before we get there, we talked about Lane Johnson going out. So you have Matt Pryor comes in, fills in for Lane. I'm not sure 100% why he was the starter over Fred Johnson,
Because
but
he was there longer. I don't dog
I
shit.
don't know.
He's
So
dog shit.
he was absolutely trash. He couldn't block a
He
fucking
didn't even
paper
try
down.
on the
Yeah.
one play. Hurts got fucking blown up because he just ran right by the and Pryor just turns around, I was like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah.
Bam. Hurts is knocked down.
Yeah, so a lot of it was like, our offense can do anything, but,
Yeah.
we couldn't run the ball because they stacked the box. We couldn't pass the ball because Jalen had somebody in
There's
his
no
face
time, yeah.
literally once the ball was hiked. So the offense looked like complete shit.
Yeah.
So the Rams are going up and down the field against us. I think the one downfall of the Rams is that they could not put 7 on the board. They kept
Yeah.
settling for field goals,
Yep.
and it's like they would drive, and the defense would give up that yardage, but we were able to hold them to those field goals. And at the end of the day, that's what kept us into the game. I think going into half, wasn't it 19-7 or something like that?
Yeah, it was something double digits for sure,
Yeah, but you're
but it was
still within
ugly.
reach,
Yeah.
right? So,
Ugly from both ends, right? Like because they couldn't capitalize on the big play.
mhm,
And even their big play, the touchdown to
the
Devontae,
Devontae, yeah.
like, that was questionable, right? Like,
Well, we got one of those later
yeah,
too.
we got it
So,
late, so they at least paid it back, the
yeah,
refs, thank you for that, but
but
it's
that
just
was
like
one of
that was
the
one that, like, that was clear, like a push off, but
well, and last year that was a big like focus of the refs. Is like if they see your arm out, they're
yeah.
calling it, and it's like, okay, was that not the focus this year? No, the focus this year is taunting. So we saw
Yeah.
that also happen. So Puka
Yeah,
basically,
Puka getting taunted, yeah.
flexing on the guy and pointing towards the end zone. Normally, that's a legitimate. Okay, they
Yeah,
do that
it's
all the time.
celebration,
But
yeah.
the fact that there was somebody kind of in the direct vicinity of
Yep.
him, they called him for a taunting. So, you know, we'll
Appreciate
take
that,
it.
Puka, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like,
It's
how
ridiculous.
it
It's
is.
absolutely
It's
ridiculous.
absolutely ridiculous. So I 100% agree. But yeah, so going to half, we're down 19-7. They come out of half and leads right to a fumble. Jalen gets blown up again.
Yep.
And it turns into the Kyron Williams touchdown. So I did like to see this fucking he starts to like kind of showboat into the end zone and Coop just fucking popped his ass, which
Yeah.
I love to see. It's like, yeah, don't fucking show up in front of,
Mhm.
our end zone. So, but after that point, I don't know when Fred Johnson came in, but he replaces Matt Pryor, and it seemed like I think you combine him with going no huddle,
Yeah.
it made the offense just flourish. Like we were able to move the ball, throwing. We were able to actually like run the ball. Like the offense looked completely different.
Oh, yeah.
So kudos to Fred Johnson because once he came in, it's like literally we didn't have the same issues we had before, and also like we give him a lot of praise, but most times it's because of it. Kudos to Howie, he's going and trading
Go get him
for
back,
him.
yeah.
He traded for him right before the season started. It's
Yep.
like just for depth. And hey, Lane goes down, you have a guy that can literally come in, and you saw the difference between a good tackle and a bad tackle.
Yeah. And I mean, we already know, like, if Lane goes out, the team does not perform well.
Yeah, they never have.
Like, that's just the way it's always been when Lane's been on the Eagles. So, whether it's an injury or if it's his mental health break that he had to take, and then, obviously going down early in this last week's game, trying to fill in with Pryor just didn't work, but Pryor's been around for a while too,
Yeah.
and I think once Howie might have saw, like, how it wasn't looking great in the offseason,
Hopefully,
that he was
it was
like
Stoutland. Like, what the fuck is this guy? Like, get him out of here.
Yeah, so thank God that they ended up bringing Johnson back and then putting him in, making the decision to put him in because Pryor was just a turnstile at that point,
Yeah, exactly.
and Johnson actually made a difference, so well, not MVP because there's a
Yeah,
bigger
there's
person
bigger
that's
players that,
MVP
yeah,
on the game, but offensive MVP, give it to Matt or Fred Johnson.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it was like, just talking about the offense. Jalen looked like the Jalen we want to look like
Yeah,
in the second half, running the ball, passing the
throwing. Yeah,
mostly passing the ball. Like, and honestly, good for fucking AJ. Like, he was a goddamn stud.
yeah.
Like, catching contested balls, like brushing people off, getting like, yak
Yeah,
yards. It's he was
he's
big in that
he's a big
second
dude,
half.
man.
It's like utilize him. It's like he said it himself, let your killers be killers or
Hmm.
whatever the quote was. But
Yeah,
it's like let them do their job. So you combine AJ having a great freaking second half. You have Devontae who's just fearless
yeah.
and comes up
Catches
with
almost everything. Yeah,
everything. Goddard had a wide open touchdown. Great scheme there of just
yeah,
no one was even around him, but just had that tight end going down the seam and nobody. So combo all of that, they're able to actually come back. Defense came up big, big stops. And then special teams.
yeah.
Special teams came up huge. So I guess they had enough looks at the kicker because he
They
was
saw
doing
enough.
nothing
Yeah,
but kicking field goals, in the first half. So I guess they figured out that he has kind of a low trajectory. If we can just get a push on the center and put our arms up and get
yeah,
up, we might be able to block some of these. So it happened.
yeah,
Jalen Carter comes up. It was him and Davis right next to each other, and they both kind of touched the ball and blocked it. So that was big because it kind of kept us in that where we had a shot to catch up to him.
yeah,
And we go down the field, drive. Devontae ends up getting the go ahead touchdown, the go for two. They don't get the 2 pointer, so we're up, 27,
27,
26,
26. Yeah.
with more than enough time for
Oh
you
yeah,
know the Rams to go down the field. They've been doing it all day. You know, that's basically the story of their game of hey, let's move the ball down the field, get in field goal range, kick the field goal,
call it a
and
day.
call it again. Yeah.
Yep.
So they do. They certainly get down the field. They get into field goal range, and you know, can it happen again?
Yeah.
No one would
No
have
one
thought.
thought it would have.
No, I mean the last time I think they said the Eagles did it was 1960 something.
Yeah.
That two
Would
blocked
imagine what
kicks,
a kicker was
not
looking like then.
back to back. Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
Five foot
So,
six
and I wonder if he jumped over
with
the
a boot.
center.
Yeah, with a boot on.
So, no, and it's Sirianni calls the timeout to kind of ice them a little bit. And I guess from what I heard was, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are Georgia boys.
Yeah.
They're kind of scheming of what they want to do, and they line up kind of to the right of the center, right on one of the guards, and literally just did the same thing.
Yep.
Blew him up, blocked it. Fucking Jordan Davis picks the ball up, his 300 fucking plus pounds, 18 miles an hour later,
Yep.
touchdown, Eagles walk-off win 33-26.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a couple things. All-time bad beat for the Rams betters if
Oh
they were
god,
plus
yeah.
3.5.
Plus 3.5.
Thought they had that locked in. Jordan
Yeah.
Davis did not need to return that as a touchdown.
Nope.
They asked him afterwards if he was still catching his breath, and he said that that's the fastest he's run probably since the combine.
Since the 40, yeah.
But no, I mean, he is the MVP of the actual game because what a fucking performance by him.
Honestly, the first 3 games, he might be the MVP of the team right now.
Yeah, he's
He's
been
had
balling.
every game this year so far,
Yeah,
and again, I hate giving Howie credit, but picking up his 5th-year option might
yeah,
look like a bargain at this point
mhm,
because he's gonna be on the books for 15 million next year,
yeah,
and you can extend him out, like, I don't know who talked to him in the offseason, but they're probably like, "Dude, get into shape, get your fucking shit right, you can be a $100 million player," and he certainly can. If he's playing like this, dude,
yeah,
he's a game changer, like,
yeah,
certainly last week, like, and we were talking about it in the first half. It's like, all right, we need somebody on this defense to make a goddamn play, whether it's Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis. And hey, they certainly showed up.
yeah,
They did stop the run in the second half. They did, pressure Stafford into, some errant throws. So, as much as we say that the offense kind of picked it up, the
yeah.
defense
The
did it on
defense
the
did
other
as
side
well.
too. But when you're down that much, you kind of have to have both sides.
Yeah, and then just one other note on the game and the fucking kickoffs, man.
Yeah, yeah.
God
So
damn, this dude, I think they said the kicker's been like working on something to where it's pretty much an uncatchable ball.
it's like a knuckleball, but
Yeah,
we
and
have we have a
we could not
receiver,
catch anything.
John Mechie
Yeah,
and Tank Bixby.
Bixby.
So they're the guys in the
Jesus
back,
Christ.
5 of 6. They
Yeah,
just completely couldn't catch. So they're finally picking the ball up, and we're starting every drive
or
on our
15,
5 to
20.
10 to 15. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas, like, if you can, like, literally just grab the ball, run 10 yards, we
yeah,
have, field position and actual some room. So,
yeah. It was
um,
wild to see
I
that
want
they
to
just
say I
couldn't catch it.
saw that they already signed a new kick returner, but I don't know how true
Really?
that
I
was. Yeah.
haven't seen anything,
So,
but they did say that I think the Rams as, like, a team,
mm.
they have the best opponent starting position, like, starting field
Well, if
position,
he's kicking those
because
knuckleballs,
no
then I
one can
believe
catch
it.
it.
Yeah.
But it's like, holy shit, what a, like, wrench that's thrown into the plan. Now every kicker's gonna need to go out there and start knuckling it, like
Well, yeah, I remember, like, we're both soccer players, like, we
yeah,
used to play back in the day, and, like, sometimes when you hit that ball right, it has that knuckle on it,
yeah,
and
it's
it
yeah,
looks cool as shit. So, if they can he's a professional kicker, I'm sure he's adopted that from either
yeah,
playing soccer or whatever. If you hit the ball just right, and all you need to do is
yeah,
make sure it's in that landing zone.
exactly. It
Yeah.
needs to be, what, 60 yards?
So, I wouldn't be surprised if, we talked about I think one of the, teams had, a touchdown off of a kickoff. I think it was Seattle against, was it Pittsburgh?
Yeah, because they didn't pick the
They didn't
ball
pick
up.
the ball up,
Yeah,
so I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams come up with, like, a huge play in the coming weeks to where,
yeah,
the guy doesn't catch the ball, they recover the ball, or they
touchdown.
even recover it for a touchdown,
Yeah,
so, look out for
it's
that, but, yeah, it's pretty nuts,
it's
and
wild. I was just it was so
we were all
annoying. It
frustrated.
was
I'm
so
like,
annoying to watch that we just could not catch the ball.
"You were a
And
receiver, you have one fucking job."
yeah, and you can't see it knuckling on TV,
Right.
like, you don't see the actual, like, flight path of the ball. You just see that this dude's just dropping it every time, and it's
Yep.
like, "Holy crap, guy, get it together. Use your fucking hands."
Mhm.
And then it comes to find out that this kicker is just incredible at kickoffs,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
so what a weapon they have over there in LA.
the good thing is he's good about hitting people's hands, so
Yeah.
and Jordan
Yeah,
Davis and
very good.
Jalen Carter's as well.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, I was looking at this, especially second half. I'm like, all right, offense looks like shit. We need to do something.
Yeah.
And at least the passing offense kind of looked what we were looking for, as Eagles fans. Of move the ball, don't rely on Saquon to do it. Like,
Yeah.
how about we use the pass to do the run instead of vice versa, and like just make it look like a formidable offense. And at least there was takeaways there of like, say we lost that game, I could look at it and be like, all right, at least the offense looked good. At least they had you know the ability to come back and get back into the game. Like,
Yeah.
say he makes that field goal, we lose, 20, 29, 27, I guess was what it would have been.
Yeah, they make it.
Um, so at least there's some takeaways there that were positive.
Mhm.
So they're able to come away with a win, which is great. But obviously there's some things that I think they can take from that game that, hey, let's implement this, whether it's a passing game, whether it's, hey, let's do a little no huddle like
Yeah. Hurry
early
up
on in the
offense.
game. Yeah, especially like second half. It's like, all right, we get second quarter. It's like, let's go a little no huddle. Like, put them on their heels a little bit, and just kind of work it in a little bit more than just, all right, this second half, let's finally try to do it.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that was, like, Patullo, obviously, fans have not been happy with the new offensive coordinator. I think that's rightfully so, just looking at the recent performances.
Right.
And you wonder if that's more of just like, hey, Jalen's going up there with like 2 or 3 plays and he's making the decision
Yeah.
and going from there. But I mean, who knows what that actually is? I don't think we'll ever know the answer, right?
No, we
Because
could
it's
just
all going to be
speculate.
coach speak through all the media
Well, I'm
conferences. We know
also hearing
Jalen.
too, it's like, all right, is Sirianni actually calling all the plays at second half, or was it still Patullo? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so everybody's,
But we're not going to get a straight answer because one, Sirianni's going to stick up for his guy.
Mhm.
Jalen, we know he doesn't give up any answers in the media. He's going to come up with some random fucking quote that's
Yep.
going to be on the quote card. That's going to
Yeah,
be like
Dr. Seuss
motivational.
of
Yeah. That's
football.
all it is, it's just motivation. So it's just you'll never actually know the right answer, but whatever they did, that worked. Let's see it rolling into a team that we can never find a way to beat.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, let's talk about some of the other games throughout the week. The Browns defense, they didn't look good against the Ravens, but these other two games that they've had, the defense looks good.
Yeah,
Miles Garrett, he's a
freak.
monster.
Did you see the
So
one play where they had 3 guys trying to block him?
no.
Dude, it was like it was just one side of the field. It was Miles Garrett, and then there was 3 Packers linemen trying to, like, block at him.
Mhm.
And it was just, like, wild to look at. And I saw a clip today on Instagram or Twitter that was basically like, he blew by an offensive lineman, and the offensive lineman just turned around and yelled, "Jordan, run." Like,
That's
that
awesome.
guy, he's such a beast, man, and,
Yeah.
like, it's such a shame that he's in
In
Cleveland,
Cleveland, yeah.
but he is absolutely incredible,
Oh, we
so
talked about it, like, in the offseason of, like, alright, who's gonna make the big trade to go get him,
yeah,
or who's going to, sign him to this crazy contract, and we're like,
yeah,
he's kinda speaking of, "I wanna be on a playoff contender," but, he takes a ton of money to play with Cleveland. It's like, you know, unless Cleveland, like, they don't have a quarterback, they don't have a lot of pieces that,
yeah,
one defensive player, but at least their defense looks good. So
Yeah.
they go up against we talked about them last week, a Super Bowl contender in the Packers, and they literally shut them down.
Some Super Bowl favorite is what they were
Yeah.
quoted as, and then there was I think one of their linemen had said that they were thinking about an undefeated season.
Hmm. Well,
Buddy, it's after week 2.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
There's a
that
lot
sounds
of
like
things that can happen.
some diehard Eagles fans of
Yeah, yeah, but that was just
undefeated every year.
that got me in the Survivor.
I think it got a lot of people.
Yeah, so yep, out on that.
Yeah.
That was fun while it lasted.
That one in Atlanta. Atlanta looked fucking horrible as well. So I think between those two teams, they probably knocked out a lot of people in survivors.
So, couple things that I've heard with Atlanta, they didn't advance past the 30-yard line in the entire game against Carolina, which Carolina is not a good team.
Right.
So Penix was absolutely awful to watch.
Hmm.
Can't
We
make
watched most of that game.
any
He was
throw. He
terrible.
could not make any throw. And then there's also a stat. It's very low sample size, but Penix has not beaten a team that's given when they scored more than 7
I
points.
saw that too. Yeah.
So it's like 0-4
Hmm.
against teams that have scored more than 7 points. But it's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like,
He's
and
clearly not the guy. And they even brought Kirk Cousins in
yeah,
towards the end of the game.
and that
So
dude, like Kirk Cousins again, had a great career, made a ton of money. He's probably just chilling at this point now.
he's going
But
to be better than Penix. I know they want to go with their
oh, for
guy because they
sure.
draft him, but he did not look good.
No,
And none of the throws were on time. Like he had
weren't even on
two
target.
picks that were like not even close. Like guys
It
just
was
jumping
awful.
routes. And it's all right. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
time to sit. Let somebody else play. Clearly, you need to learn more. So
yeah,
back to the Browns game. Towards the end, obviously it was a close game going into it. They block a field goal late, and then they're able to kind of drive. Last second field goal. They go up 13-10. They end up beating the Packers. So very impressive by the Browns. I love it as an Eagles fan because the Packers already got that loss.
yeah.
So good to see. Colts, dude, Danny Dimes, man.
Crushing it.
How about New York, man? You have Saquon last year leaves. He just thriving in Philly.
Yep,
Danny Dimes leaves because he was the problem in New York, right?
yep.
I don't know, man.
He looks good.
I saw a thing where it was like it was showing basically like Danny Dimes and Saquon leaving New York, and it was Peyton Manning and Adrian Peterson in
Oh
their
yeah,
prime.
yeah,
And I was like, that's pretty funny. But
yeah. It's wild the turnaround of his career. So we'll see how long they can keep it up. I mean,
yeah.
their division's not
Oh, not
difficult.
good at all. No, hell
So
no. So
they
and they're already
have a
3-0, right?
they're 3-0 and the
3-0? Yep.
Texans are 0-3.
And how about Jonathan Taylor? Dude, Jonathan Taylor of
He's
old?
back, man.
Yeah, dude, he
Yeah.
looks good. He
He's
looks
healthy
great.
again, looks
Mhm.
like. So
Dude, the one play broke like 6 tackles, and half those guys look like they just slid off him like he was like
yeah.
butter or
Yep.
whatever. So, I know, they look good. We'll see how they are, like I mean, they played what? The Broncos, right?
The Dolphins, the Broncos,
And the
and,
and the Titans.
Titans.
Yeah.
So, not great competition, but they're
Hey,
3-0.
they're
They won
winning.
games they should have
Exactly,
won.
they're winning.
So
Yeah. So, it's I find it hilarious to see Danny Dimes actually, producing and doing well just based on, New York and
yeah, and then, I mean, honestly, this brings up the conversation of what is gonna happen with Anthony Richardson.
right.
Like, like, last year, he did not look good as a rookie. He took the whole 1 drive off because he was tired,
Yeah.
and that brings in a lot of unnecessary comments from outside fans and
Mhm.
media personalities. So, that's always tough to see, but at the end of the day, if he's not in shape, he's not in shape, right? And
Well,
if
it's
Danny
kinda
Dimes is coming in, taking your job and leading your team to 3-0, something you
mhm.
couldn't obviously do
Couldn't
last
do.
year, and it seems like it's Danny Dimes' job at this point.
Well, it's how much of that is what Jordan Davis we just talked about, like, someone takes him to the side and be like, "Dude, if you put the
Figure it
time
out.
in, put the effort in, you can be $100 million quarterback," or, like, this is life-changing money.
Yeah.
Like, you're just putting it off on the I know you got hurt a little bit, like, his first year and things like that, but,
Yeah.
how much of that are you trying to come back and
I think there
trying
was an
to be
injury even in the, like, off season that may have opened the door for Danny Dimes, but I don't think Daniel
if he
Jones is
keeps
not trying
winning
to let go of it at this point.
yeah, if he keeps winning, they're not gonna,
Yeah.
"Hey, Dan, we're sitting you because Richardson says he's
Yeah.
he's back, ready to go."
And I think he's $20 million a year, Daniel Jones. So, I
Mhm.
mean, like, he's not like a
It's not
low-paid
cheap, right.
backup. So, like, maybe Indy's on their quarterback rotation thing again.
Yeah, exactly,
They tried to draft quarterback, it didn't necessarily pan out, so they're back to signing free agents.
yeah. So, hey, good for Danny, love it, just based
Yeah,
on Giants. Love to see them fail as a,
as an
organization.
organization.
So, another quarterback trying to rejuvenate his career, Carson Wentz, started against what do we wanna call that? The backup bowl? Carson Wentz against Jake Browning.
Yep.
Vikings defense.
Isaiah
Fucking,
Rogers.
yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carson Wentz Vikings, they destroy the
Yeah.
Bengals.
I had that one
Um,
way wrong. Was
yeah,
way off on
I
that
think I
game.
nailed that one.
Yeah,
I
I was
didn't have
way
that
off.
score, but I did have the Vikings there.
Yeah.
But no, it's like Carson actually looked good. Bouncing around from multiple team to team to team. You combo that with the defensive performance and like as you mentioned, Isaiah Rogers, a guy that we were like, why didn't we bring him back? And then you look
I didn't want him back, but now I after seeing Adoree Jackson,
and
you know, I want him
Bennett,
back.
and it's like,
Yeah.
all right, and you have that turnstile of those two.
Yeah.
And then you see this game where it's like he has an interception return for a touchdown, a fumble recovery return for a touchdown, two forced fumbles. Like
Yeah.
him alone was probably more defensive production than most teams in the league.
He was incredible. Yeah, he balled the fuck out, so great on
Yeah,
him.
yeah, good for him.
Carson, I don't think he did anything spectacular. He had a decent game, nothing crazy.
Had a couple good throws. I
Yeah,
know the pass to Hawkinson was a good one.
yeah, but I think he was also, like, fairly open, but,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so, I mean, it's good to see Carson get a W. I was, again, way wrong on that pick. I didn't think that Carson had anything left. Kevin O'Connell, he's a hell of a coach.
yeah. He takes people's trash and
Yeah,
turns it
t look
into
at Sam Darnold,
slightly less trash.
rejuvenated Sam Darnold, now he's over in Seattle.
Yeah,
So we'll see what can happen if Carson's gonna keep it up or not, but
yeah. How long is McCarthy out? Do you know? Is he out a couple weeks?
they said, like, 3 to 4 weeks, so again,
So he's got a couple weeks that are he might be playing in
he
Philly
might be playing in
against
Philly.
us in Philly, so
Yeah,
that'll be interesting. And it's in Philly?
I believe so, but
Okay,
I
we can look it
could
up,
be
but
wrong on that,
if
but
it's in Philly, that would be a nuts game. Um, but yeah, Buccaneers, another fourth quarter comeback for a win. You know, Baker Mayfield, I said it before, I fucking love that guy. I love the way he plays the game.
yeah,
I think, when he was with Cleveland, we've kind of talked about Cleveland. It's like it just doesn't seem like they have the pieces to win. I think that they have pieces around him in Tampa Bay, and it's just a matter of, all right, do your job. Basically, you
yeah,
teams on your shoulders take us to, put this drive together. So he another one where Jets block a kick, take it
yeah,
back for a touchdown is the theme of the weekend. So, they're down. They just need a field goal to win, but Baker just comes up in the clutch again, drives them right in
yeah,
field goal range, big win. Which, leads us to our upcoming matchup of, these Buccaneers and they're 3-0, we're 3-0. We're going down to Tampa.
yeah,
Um, we'll see what we'll save the details till after we get through all the games, but yeah, it's gonna be a tough matchup for sure.
yeah,
So they ended up winning 29-27. Good game out of Baker, good game out of just the team in general. Commanders and Mariota, another game where it's kind of like we have no idea what we're going to get out of these quarterbacks because we've seen them recently, and Mariota's looked like trash. He was trash when he was with the Eagles. He was
yeah,
trash, basically wherever he's gone since. So with Jaden Daniels out, he filled in as quarterback. He looks good. Or I mean, they
yeah,
look good as a team
they look
against the
very good.
Raiders. So I know they had a couple special teams touchdowns as well,
Kick return.
kick return, and a long. I think it was McNichols had a long run.
Yeah, yeah, he got in the end zone. But yeah, I was wrong on this one again. Maybe the backups is
Way to go!
the way.
Well, to be fair, the other game, there was 2 backups also with Browning, and he just
Yeah,
went the
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
one.
That's true.
So,
But yeah, no, so, Washington, they look good. Again, it's the Raiders. We don't know really what to expect out of them.
yeah, yeah, they're
Pete
still
Carroll there, Gino, so who really knows what you're gonna get out of the Raiders? They played tough week
Gentry
1.
hasn't been doing too much, but I wonder how much of that is because he's only 3 games into the season.
He's also not blocking apparently. He just can't block.
Yeah,
So that's not good in the NFL.
I
When
don't
you
know how much they teach that in Boise.
or Chip Kelly teaching it with
Oh, yeah,
Vegas.
yeah,
Yeah. So can't imagine that he's over there trying to work on his blocking. So
right.
we'll see what the Vegas has. But yeah, Washington looked good on Sunday.
Mhm. Chargers and Herbert. Herbert continues to impress.
Yeah, he's balling right now.
Yeah, I mean, the touchdown he had late in the game where he kind of steps up into the pocket, kind of goes off, his opposite
Yeah.
throwing arm direction, and he fucking zips a pass and off balance and right to Keenan Allen.
Yeah,
Great catch
Keenan
by Keenan
Allen.
Allen because it was covered pretty well.
He's He's looking like he's back too.
Keenan Allen of old,
Yeah,
yeah,
he was
but
not great in Chicago last year. He was decent, nothing
how much of that was the
spectacular.
quarterback, though? It's like you got Caleb
Yeah,
Williams, who I've never been high on. We'll get to him in a minute, but,
yeah,
it's he goes there, he looks like Keenan Allen of,
of old.
Chargers. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So
San Diego Keenan Allen.
yeah, exactly. So, but it's like to see. I've always liked Herbert. I
Yeah,
always, like, enjoyed watching him play and just his arm is incredible.
yeah,
But his gripe's always been, you put all these numbers up in the regular season, show me in the
do it when it
playoffs.
matters. Yeah.
So,
I think Harbaugh's been good for him too.
mhm,
Having an actual like hard nosed coach that understands like what it takes to win.
yeah,
Granted, he didn't win a Super Bowl, but he went to
yeah,
won a national championship in Michigan. So I think that that kind of helps him a lot, like a ton. And then getting Keenan Allen back is huge.
yeah,
It actually like Quentin Johnston is catching the ball this year. He wasn't the past 2 years, so he's on pace for an insane year so
yeah,
far. So
yeah.
we'll see what happens. But
Certainly didn't draft him on my fantasy team, so
yeah,
I'm sure he's doing well for somebody else. Yep. As we mentioned, Caleb Williams, I've never been too high on him, but he certainly kicked the shit out of the Cowboys.
yeah, he
Uh,
carved them up.
298 yards, 4 touchdowns. And, Dak has I wouldn't say a normal Dak game, but he throws up the yards, 250, but it's only one touchdown. He has two interceptions. So
Yeah,
it's they'll say the interceptions are kind of what's costing them. It's like, come on, protect the ball.
yeah,
Kind of what we were saying with Jalen. It's like don't throw the interceptions, which I think kind of plays into this passing game hesitancy
yeah,
of I don't want to turn the ball over, so I'm not going to throw this because they're not technically open. I'll eat it and run or throw the ball away. But Dak with the two interceptions, it was kind of weird. Javonte Williams has looked pretty good for Dallas.
he's looked very good.
And they were driving early on in the game, and I can't remember the guy's name for the Bears, but he literally strips the ball out of his arms, goes out of bounds, and it's
Yeah,
like a
just ripped
fumble.
it.
He ripped it right out
Yeah,
of
he
his
just ripped
hands.
it.
But it was after he busted like a 20-yard run, and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty impressive." I think the game it didn't turn at that point, but, when their secondary just continuously is getting burned,
Yeah,
like, they just aren't catching up, and they're not putting up points to kinda compete.
yeah,
We saw the week before Russell Wilson, 450
450.
yards and
Yeah,
3 touchdowns, and it's like, "Alright, is that the Cowboys defense right now where you're just getting the blown to or, like, the top blown off on you?"
yeah. I mean, I think injuries play a part of it, and then obviously going into the year, they probably thought they would have Micah.
Yeah.
So, when you're building your team in the offseason, you're expecting Micah Parsons to be there. That helps out your secondary. You're losing injuries. I think Diggs has been a little banged up.
Mhm.
Bland has been out. And then in this game, they lose CD. So,
Yeah, they lost him early, and that kind of,
yeah,
certainly hurt the offense. Pickens had a touchdown, and he had a decent game, but,
he also
you know
had a freak out.
yeah.
So that's freak out number 2, I believe, on the year from Pickens.
Do they have
Um,
an over/under on that yet? They
oh, I
should.
mean, it should be probably over 15.
Over 15? Yeah. 15 out of 17? Yeah, and the
But
bye counts too, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's not looking great in Dallas right now. We obviously love that, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I think Dak will be better, but obviously losing CD for probably a month,
Mhm.
3 weeks to a month, that's going to be tough.
I mean, like I said, they ran the ball well, but it's hard to run the ball when you're down points.
Exactly.
I think I saw Javonte Williams was 10 rushes for 76 yards. I think even, Miles Sanders
Sanders has
was
looked
9
decent
or
for them
8
too.
for 50, and it's like
Yeah,
they were moving the ball, but when you're down
yeah,
13, it's hard to, "Hey, let's run the ball," and,
yeah. And I
time of
mean,
possession and
the Bears necessarily aren't a great team,
no,
so
they're not. I mean, we
their
saw them the
offense
week
looked good,
before,
but a
and they
lot
look
of
like shit.
I think the one Komet touchdown, he was wide open.
Yeah.
Like, just in the middle
Oh, in
of
the back of the end zone,
yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
just wide open there, so
Odunze looks good, like, he looks
yeah,
really good.
yeah,
So, I mean, to the point where it's like people aren't even they're wondering where DJ Moore is, and,
yeah.
like, he's been used as a running back half the time, so
He's getting a couple carries,
yeah,
he's getting, like, 4 or 5 receptions a week.
he's in that Debo role.
Yeah, yeah, I only know because I have him in fantasy. But yeah, he's kind of becoming, like, an afterthought because Odunze has been stepping up so
Mhm,
much, so
yeah. Moving on to the, Sunday night shit show, the,
yeah, didn't
Chiefs and
even
Giants.
watch more than a quarter of this game.
Yeah, I had bets going, so I was trying to stick around to watch it. Unfortunately, Mr. Russell Wilson couldn't find, my boy Neighbors at all,
Yeah.
so I missed that part of my bet. And he looked like absolute shit. Like,
Yep,
every ball that he threw was underthrown. I think the only reason why the Giants were in this game was Tracy got hurt,
yep,
Scatabo comes in, that guy is a monster.
He's Mike Allstott.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's
he's
just
Mike Allstott.
running dudes
Yeah.
over like like, if he was in Philly, they would fucking love this guy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
If he was I mean, I'm sure New York loves the guy,
Yeah, I'm
but
sure
it's
everywhere would,
like
yeah.
yeah, it's one of those dudes that, like, he just puts his nose down and he's, like, looking for contact,
He
and
needs to change his face mask to, like, the old school fullback
oh,
with, like, the
yeah.
full, like, middle bar and then
Uh-huh,
the,
yep,
like, long
yeah.
mask on it. Yeah, that's what he needs. That
So
fit
but he
perfect for
was
him.
impressive. I mean, out of the
Yeah.
backfield, catching the ball, like, just bullnosing people
Yeah.
and or bulldozing people with his bull nose, but, um, yeah, no, he was impressive to see, but other than him, they didn't do much of anything. The Chiefs also looked unimpressive.
Yep.
I mean, Mahomes is forced to do everything. They don't have any receivers. Hollywood Brown's clearly not a guy that, can be that guy. So you
It's
take
Tyquan Thornton anymore for them.
yeah,
He's
and
their deep
he's
target.
actually been good,
Yeah.
and, I know he had the one big touchdown against us, in the game that we played. He had another touchdown in this one too,
Yeah.
but it's like, until they get Xavier Worthy back, until they get,
Rashee
Rice
Rice,
back,
yeah.
it's like, what's this offense gonna look like? Travis Kelce doesn't seem like he's the guy anymore. He wants to fight with, the coach all the time,
He's fighting
and
with Andy Reid, yeah.
yeah. So, like,
What was that about? Since I didn't watch
I don't
that
think
part of
they
it, was it?
ever or I
Okay.
didn't hear if they did say it. I was kinda multitasking
I
while we
wasn't
were
sure
doing
if it
it,
was
but
like that he's not getting the ball or if he's, like, upset with penalties or what, but again, point of the game, the Chiefs don't look good.
no, they don't. So they come
So,
away with the win, but it's like,
yeah,
"Alright, you beat the Giants. Is that
yeah.
truly a win?"
Yeah, so they did not look good. Um, the Giants, I'm sure we'll preview it into our next, discussion about them, but yeah, Russell Wilson, not great.
No.
After that great performance against Dallas, I mean, that
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, he had a shitty performance week 1,
yeah,
comes back against Dallas, and we're like, "Oh, this is Russell Wilson of old."
yeah,
And, like, literally just dropping those like, he used to throw those moonshots,
60-yard
and yeah,
bombs, yeah.
and he was hitting them all the time,
Well, he
and
hit the Chiefs cornerback or
yeah, he
safety,
hit them a couple times, like,
so
underthrowing fucking
they're
everything.
still being caught.
So clearly, he can only do it in the dome. Like,
Yeah,
put
yeah,
any elements in the air, and he's like, "Oh no, the ball gets knocked
yeah.
down, the interception." So,
I still don't
um,
know why they brought him.
but I mean, like, all right. So in the off season, they bring Russell Wilson in, they bring Jameis Winston in, and they draft a quarterback.
Yep,
So they skip over. So they're benching Wilson. And you would think, okay, are they going to give Winston a shot?
nope,
No, they're saying we're going for our boy.
yeah,
And I wonder how much of that was Dable maybe putting his foot down and be like, "This is a guy I drafted. This is the guy I wanna put my name on."
it's a save your job move.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Instead of going with the GM of, "Hey, we got Jameis," and it's like, "Oh, wait, no, we're gonna go get Russell Wilson,"
yeah,
and it's like now you just have, the Cleveland Browns quarterback controversy of, like, 15 guys
yeah.
all in the same, room.
All the
So
same kinda caliber of quarterback too, until the young guys get up and have their chance to prove themselves, but
yeah, I know they're high on, Jackson Dart, and it's
yeah,
like, all right, look at it this way. Giants, are you gonna compete for a division this year? More than likely not. Not with
yeah,
the talent that's in this division. So why don't you see what you have with this kid?
yep,
Maybe he's Michael Penix. Maybe he's the next fucking not saying Joe Burrow, but he's the next fucking guy.
yeah.
You don't know until you actually try it. So you have some offensive weapons. You have neighbors. You have and
Scatterbo
yeah.
and I mean, Slayton, I think, is still there, but yeah, I mean, it's not whenever you draft a quarterback high, you're not in the necessarily the greatest spot as a team.
Mhm.
So it is tough to make that transition into you're drafting a quarterback high, and then you're gonna go
Well,
and
plus
compete
on
the
top of
first
that,
year.
your team sucks probably at that point anyway.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I mean, he's going to be starting this week. We'll see how, we're going to see him in a couple weeks, and it's going to be back to back weeks basically, just based on the way the schedule's set up. So,
yep,
I think you predicted it, and because we had a joke of, all right, when does Jackson Dart actually first
yeah.
start? And you were saying before the Eagles game, and I was like, hmm, I thought it was going to be after, but yeah, you
I
nailed
think I
that one.
said it the first I thought the first one would be the Eagles game because I was like, if you look at their schedule and we look how they're gonna match up,
Mhm.
they would probably be 0-4 going into Philly.
Yeah.
And they're 0-3, and now they play the Chargers. Probably gonna be 0-4 coming into Philly, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that it's probably Dable's just kinda like, this is his ace up his sleeve, like, "This is my last chance to keep my job.
Yep.
Get the young kid in there that we wanted.
That
I've
I
worked with him"
drafted.
yeah,
Yeah.
"that I've worked with him in the all off season. Let me get him in, get him some reps, see what he can do, keep my job. If not, if it turns out to a failure, he's gone."
Yeah. I
And
mean,
Jackson Dart will still be there. He'll be the quarterback next year.
yeah.
but they'll have a new coach, and that's
And
just
more
I
than
think
likely, it's
Dable
like I
just
think a successful season for them this year would be, okay, can we turn this hole that we're in? Can we turn that around and get to at least 500, if not a game over 500? You
I
know?
think a successful season for them would probably 6-10 and Jackson Dart showing promise.
Yeah.
Like if Neighbors has over 1,000 yards and like 10 touchdowns, and Jackson Dart comes in, throws for 2,500 yards and 15 to 7, like 15 touchdowns, 7 interception like ratio,
Mhm.
I think that's not bad.
Yeah.
But again, it's just
I
the
guess that's to
division's
your
too
point.
tough.
Yeah, that's
Like,
a good point because, they still have to play us twice, and not saying that we're gonna beat them both those games, but, more than likely we should just based on that
yeah,
caliber of team. I mean, they still have a pretty fucking good defensive line, and some good defensive players, so
they haven't necessarily performed too well this year.
no, but how much of that is, like, dictated on
Their
well,
secondary's not great.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
so, yeah,
but I think that again, there's low expectations for Dart, and I think it's just Dable just saying like, please just let me get my guy. Give me 3 weeks, see if I can keep my job,
yep,
and they'll go from there.
yeah, yeah, so, we'll see what Dart can do. I'm excited to see him, just to see what he can do. I know everybody's
I'd love to see
hype.
Russell Wilson back in there. I mean,
Oh, it's for the Eagles? Oh, yeah. Can we get Jameis?
Jameis will fuck around and throw for 300 yards.
He
Russell
will.
Wilson,
300
yeah,
yards, 3 TDs, and 6 interceptions.
yeah,
So, I guess the highlight of the week, one of the highlights of the week was, Monday night game, Lions-Ravens.
yep,
So I did stay up and watch this one. This one was a good game. It was a back and forth affair. Um, 2 Super Bowl contending teams.
yep.
They're up there for the playoff predictions and, high favorites when it comes to the Super Bowl. Lions offense looks like they haven't missed a beat. They dropped 51 last
They
week.
did week 1 against the Packers,
Yeah, but
and then now they're rolling again.
yeah.
They blew the shit out of the Bears, and then they dropped, what, 38 last night, right?
Yeah,
38 was the total?
38, yeah.
But yeah, they're doing their bullshit plays where Goff to St. Brown to Gibbs
Mhm.
for the touchdown, or Montgomery, whoever it was that scored the touchdown. But yeah, I mean, losing Ben Johnson was like a big deal after week 1 when they
Well, and that's
didn't perform
probably week
well.
1, right?
Yeah, and then now they
Or the
start to be
Packers
rolling.
understanding them of like, "Okay, we know how to play this team, we see them enough,"
Yeah,
that type of thing. But yeah, it's their running game is that two-headed,
yeah,
Sonic and Tails or they're fucking
Knuckles,
or Sonic and Knuckles, yeah.
yeah,
They're fucking great. Like, Gibbs starts out the game with a touchdown, which I was happy of with that first touchdown score,
cheers.
bet, so
Good
cheers
job.
to that. And then,
Montgomery coming in there to, like,
dude, he
bruise him
was
up.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
like,
not
he
not
runs
even
hard.
that, like,
Yeah,
he's a bruiser, but he's quick, and, like, he's hitting holes, and, like, I was watching the first few drives, and, Gibbs is like I was telling, our buddy Justin, it was like, when Gibbs jukes, like, he's juking or, like, moving forward instead
yeah,
of, like, stalling and, like, letting the play develop, so he's very shifty in that, and it's
yeah.
like Montgomery has the same style of run too, but he's just, 1, the bruiser, but he was hitting holes with, like, speed, and he busted that one
60,
60-yard
yeah,
run,
67
and
yarder.
he lost he ran out of gas. It reminded me of Shipley in the Super Bowl,
Yeah, yeah.
where it's like he's getting down to the 5, but no, it was cool. They show the replay, and you can see him looking at the screen behind
Yep,
him, and he's, like, watching the guys, and, like, you can see him
trying to
kinda go
move.
to the
Yeah.
left a little bit to get away, and,
Like, "Alright, I'm
Humphreys
watching from my backside, so I
he
gotta go this way."
he's got Humphrey had, some good closing speed, but
No, that was an incredible play by him to come down
oh,
and get
yeah,
him. But
100%, yeah.
yeah,
So, but no, their running game looks great. Goff looks great with the, receivers and stuff. Like, there's a lot of big third down plays that,
yeah,
he's finding Laporta like wide open in like the zone and like, finding St. Brown, who's another stud. And
yep.
like, I
Jamison
like,
Williams is good, Laporta's good.
yeah, they have a great offense.
Very
And,
good team.
their defense is one of the gripes was last year, their defense was giving up, points
Yeah,
to everybody, but it's because they were hurt. Now they're somewhat healthy. And,
yep,
it
they
was
got
evident.
Hutchinson back.
Yeah, they got Hutchinson back. And who makes the biggest play of the game?
Yep,
He punches the ball out of Derrick Henry, and it's like, it sets them up to, hang on to the win and, add those extra points. But, they got pressure on Lamar.
yep.
They didn't let Lamar
They
beat
contained
him.
Lamar.
They did. And
Yeah,
they had a spy that was actually pretty fucking quick. And like he
yeah,
was closing in on Lamar anytime he tried to run and holding him to a short gain. I think they sacked him 7 times, which is impressive in itself.
yeah.
So it was all around an impressive victory by, a team that wasn't favored at all, especially being, I think they were 5.5 point
Dogs, yeah.
underdogs. Yeah. So, to go into Baltimore and compete with a team like
Monday
that.
Night Football, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, kudos to you, Lions. They're going to be a good team. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to, you know, our matchup if and when it happens. I don't know if do we have them on the schedule this year?
We should because they were both division winners, right?
Yeah,
Didn't
so
they
we
win
would. I
the
can't
division
remember
last
what it
year?
was. It's probably towards the end of the year, which is stupid, but
By the way, we are in Minnesota.
in Minnesota, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we play them November 16th in Philly.
Ooh, so that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're healthy. Hopefully we're healthy, and we can actually see because that was one of the big things of if we had a
They were
healthy
running their
team,
mouth. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, last year. But
But
the side note on the Ravens game, Derrick Henry, what the fuck, dude? Why do you keep fumbling?
yeah, this
That's
is
twice.
the twice,
Yeah.
yeah, between the
2 out of
Bills
3
game,
weeks, the
yeah,
Bills game and then this game, the 2
late.
massive games, you're doing the late fumbles. Like,
Well,
dude,
he's
what
had
the hell?
he's had a fumble in each of the 3 games,
Yeah.
but they weren't
The
they weren't in
Browns game wasn't,
the
yeah,
Browns game
close.
wasn't as impactful, but, you're going up against the Bills, late fumble gets them right back in the game,
Yeah.
and, Josh Allen does what Josh Allen does, takes advantage of it, and then they end up losing the game. Last night, same kind of thing. It's like Hutchinson comes around, punches a ball out, great play by him,
Yep.
and you could tell Henry was very frustrated. He went off the sideline.
Awkward,
Oh
awkward.
god, yeah, it's like
So awkward.
it was like he tried to throw his helmet, but he threw his body at the same
Yeah.
time, and it was
Yeah.
just like he's sitting there like just,
It's like a toddler.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
reverted to 4-year-old Derrick Henry there at the time. He's probably the same size. But, yeah, no, it looked even worse on tape,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
fumble and then seeing the frustration, helmet slam,
I
just
mean,
bad
it's a good
overall look.
play on Hutchinson, and it's like
No,
that's
it's a
what
great play.
defensive players do now. They
Yeah.
punch after the ball when they're going, especially when you're gang tackling.
Mhm.
And Henry, you gotta know that when you see people coming like that, you gotta, you know
Yeah, and I think it's just more that he hasn't had these problems before, and now it's starting to become a real issue.
yeah, so there's one way to fix it. Hold the ball higher. Remember how
Yeah,
Tiki
Tiki
Barber
Barber.
used to do that? Hold it up to your chest a little bit more under your chin,
Yep.
or, 2 hands when you're especially
He
you
ain't no
sense
shady.
contact. Yeah.
He
No,
ain't no
yeah.
shady.
Fucking
Shady
loafing
loaf
it.
of bread.
Yeah. But no, well, it's crazy to see because, King Henry, theoretically, they could be 3-0, but, at this point, you're 1-2.
Yep,
And you're going into, and we'll get to it in a minute, but you're going into a game with the Chiefs. We're going to have a 1-3 Chiefs or Ravens.
yep, which is
So,
wild.
which is absolutely wild. Um, so yeah, I mean, let's just get back to, this Bucks game. The 3-0, just kind of forecasting this week's game. We're going down to Tampa. I think it's going to be 88 degrees down there, but
We're
it's going to
going
be
down
like,
Friday.
yeah, we're
We're
going
getting an
down a day
extra day
early. Yeah.
to acclimate to
Sun
the heat,
sunbathe a little bit,
and it's just like, is that what we're blaming it on? Is
That's
it
what
too
they're
hot?
going to. Yeah.
Like, dude, it's 80 degrees today,
Yeah.
and we're in Delaware. It's
It's a
not that much
different
different.
80 down there.
But, like, come on, man. Like, I understand, like, they have demons, like, we talk about the Phillies and Mets, right? Like, we just can't win in Tampa for whatever reason. We just
Mhm.
don't know. It's probably just Todd Bowles, right?
It
Like, it
probably
doesn't matter
is.
about
Yeah.
the Heat. It's probably just Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles knows how to drop weird shit
Yep.
and confuses Jalen, and Jalen can't figure it out for whatever reason.
So I
They're
think,
banged up, though.
yeah, and I think honestly, like, so I believe the last 2 times we played the Buccaneers. Last year we didn't have AJ. I think the playoff game we also didn't have
We
AJ.
didn't have Lane.
Well, yeah, but we didn't have in the playoff game AJ either, right?
Yeah, I
So
don't
he
think so.
hasn't played either of the last 2 games. Last year on the actual regular season game, they we didn't have Lane Johnson, as you said, AJ or Devontae.
Or Devontae,
So it's
yeah.
like we didn't have any of our offense.
Yeah.
So what did you expect was going to happen? But the Todd Bowles defense, I don't know if Jalen's ever figured it out, or even Sirianni for that matter.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not gonna going into this game being 3-0. I feel better about if we do lose to them, going 3-1. It's like we kind of figured this was going to happen anyway. I think we talked about this in our early predictions of, all right, where do you have this game?
Yeah.
And I think I had this one as a loss, along with the Dallas game, week 1 as a loss. So out of this 4-game stretch, going 2-2. So if they can go 3-1 out of this, or even certainly 4-0, dude, they're already higher than my expectations anyway.
Yeah.
Um, I love how Baker plays. I said that before. He is going to be limited this game. Mike Evans had a hamstring, so he's going to be out this one. I think a couple more after that, probably. If it's anything like Trey, might be out for a month. So that's a plus because now we like Mbuka looks good.
He looks great.
He
He looks like
looks
he's gonna be a stud,
yeah,
and that's a
and
problem.
I'm not sure when Chris Godwin's going to come back, but I'm sure it's going to take him some time to kind of get back into the swing of things because he's
Yeah.
missed a lot of time.
Yeah, so I just actually looked that up. So him and Tristan Wirfs may be available for this game. They're not gonna know till later the week, AKA they're gonna practice this week and they'll
Well,
let
they'll
us know.
scheme yeah, they're gonna basically, like, alright,
Yeah,
scheme for them like they're gonna be back
yeah.
because and then they might be game time decisions.
But, yeah, so it said Godwin dislocated his ankle in week 7 of last year. So he's been out for almost a year this or, 8
Little
or
less than a
10
year,
10
yeah.
months, 11 months, basically. So, if he comes back, that's a big gain for them if they're losing Evans for 2 to 3 weeks, like
Right.
I said. If they get their tackle back, that's huge because they lost, I think, their backup tackle as well as their guard, I believe.
Okay.
So their offensive line and defensive line is already banged up.
Okay.
Vita Vea is still healthy, but they lost another guy that, like, tore his tricep on that Monday night game
Mhm.
against Houston. So they have a lot of injuries already, like, swirling around their team, but yeah,
But
well
it just goes back to Baker and, like, the
yeah,
guy I mean, we say it all the time too, if, like, Eagles just somehow find a way to win, and you if you give him an opportunity in the 4th quarter, odds are he's going to put his team in position for the win.
yeah,
Um
and look at, like, what Baker's gone through in his career, right? Like,
Mhm.
in Cleveland, like, dog shit franchise for a very long time. He comes in, takes them to the playoffs. They get rid of him, bring in Deshaun. He goes to Carolina. He's running practice squad snaps as a defensive end. Like, what are you doing, Carolina?
Yeah.
LA, he's on the like the Rams, and he's a backup there. Comes in backup. They sign him for 1 week. He plays that 1 week, gets the win. Finds himself at home in Tampa Bay. Wins the job. Has run with it ever since. And it's
Yeah.
just like that guy is he's a baller.
And did you hear this quote, this week about the game, and he was talking about, like, yeah, there's something personal with this game because
Yeah, Steve Wilkes was the guy
was
that
the guy
cut
that
me.
cut him
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Carolina.
yep.
So, you know, he holds those grudges,
He's
and
got
it
his
seems like
list. Yeah,
yeah, he does, and, hey, kudos to him, man. I fucking love the way he I love watching him play. He's such a gamer,
yeah,
and, he's very good in the clutch.
yep,
So, um, just looking at this game, having Mbuka, Bucky Irving and everybody, regardless of, like, the defense and offensive line struggles that they have, I'm just, we're gonna have Lane Johnson back more than likely, so that's definitely gonna be helpful.
yeah,
I also feel confident in that if he does have to sit out, Fred Johnson's gonna be the starter, and, that there's a little bit of comfort there just based on the second half.
yep,
We're also gonna have, AJ and Devontae out there as opposed to what we didn't have them last year, so we'll see what our offense can do against this Todd Bowles defense,
yeah,
but we should have everybody basically at our disposal.
yep,
So, I mean, let's just get into what we're thinking for this game. I'm still going to go with Tampa Bay in this one at home. I just think that they have our number down there. Todd Bowles just has Jalen's number. I think it's going to be a close game, but I have a feeling Baker's going to come up in the clutch again. They'll go 4-0. We're going to go 3-1.
yeah. So Brock, since he's absent, he did send in his pick, so I do have his prediction for the game. He has the Bucks winning as well. If I were to guess what Brock's saying is it's probably the same exact as we just can't figure out the Bucks.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably where it's going to be. Again, the question's on Lane Johnson if he's going to play or not. It still hasn't been determined. It's only Tuesday, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of rest of the week to go to determine if he's going to play. But
There may
I
be some
actually,
gamesmanship there too of like, oh yeah,
yeah,
Lane's
yeah,
going to be back.
yeah,
Kind of what they were doing with Godwin and
yeah, and worse.
mm,
I think the Birds are going to win. I think this team, they they're going to get over the hump and finally figure it out. And I think they're going to win. I just think the Bucks are too banged up. If they just have Igbuka, if they have Godwin come in, I think that's going to be okay. I still think that the Eagles are going to be able to handle this one.
nice. So I guess the last thing I wanted to touch on, which does have some Eagles, history. Before we get into our full, week 4 forecast, was Houston just cut our friend CJGJ. Um,
Yeah, who would have thought?
yeah, and based on our struggles, like kind of what we've seen out of Adoree Jackson and
Yeah,
Jakarian Bennett, like, do you reshuffle the secondary, move people around so you can bring him back?
I wouldn't hate the idea of bringing him back, but I just feel like there's been too much back and forth that it's got to be like if he's acting up in Tennis or Houston, he's going to act up in Philly, and it's just not going to be great. Like there's got to be a reason why Howie got rid of him.
He was talking shit when he let go of him the first and second time.
Yeah.
This would be the third time that you bring him back,
And
and
then he did recant his statement saying, like, I didn't mean it's all love Philly, like all this stuff. So like he
after the
apologized
first
for
time
it.
or the second time?
the first time. The
Yeah.
second time, he already like signed a deal with Houston. There, he's good.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and
he didn't think he was going to be coming back, or even
right,
have the
yeah,
option of coming back.
yeah.
So I think it's just he's a hell of a player when he's right,
Mhm.
and I just don't know what is causing him. Apparently, there was issues with the rest of the secondary, the coaching staff. He didn't get along with. It was causing problems, so they just cut his ass.
No, I mean, the fact that he's popped
And
around in different teams, it's like, all right, well, how much of this is a you problem, not the team
yeah,
problem?
well,
So,
even the game against the Bucks, right?
mhm.
So there's a couple plays. Gardner Johnson makes a tackle on Baker. Baker gets up, starts talking shit back to Gardner Johnson, which Gardner Johnson's always running his mouth. He's good at that.
He didn't shy
He's
away from that.
he's elite at running his mouth.
Uh-huh.
Um, so then he makes a comment on Baker's Instagram. He's like, "Yeah, that's cute and all, but you're still ringless." Like, all right, dude. Like, what? You guys lost the game. Like, what are you talking about
Yeah,
rings for? Like,
exactly.
you're not even on the team that you want to ring with.
Right.
Like, why are we talking about
You
this?
were
So
literally let
it's just
go,
weird.
traded because
Yeah.
off the team that you won with.
So just weird behaviors out of CJGJ, and I just don't think that the Eagles have capacity for that type of shit right now. I
Nope,
mean,
I
great
agree.
player,
Yeah.
love to see him do well. It's just
As much
it
as the
wasn't right.
media
It
would love
wasn't
the
right in Houston.
drama, yeah,
Oh yeah,
and I agree completely. It's like we've seen this before. So, you know, get him out like, I wouldn't take another flyer on him. I don't
no,
think
I don't
it's
think that
the right
he'll probably go to
situation.
Dallas.
Probably, yeah, might as well, right?
Yeah,
It's he fits that, agenda. Um, so, yeah, I wanted to get that in before we got it into the week 4,
yeah,
highlights. I'm sure Brock, if you guys ever follow everybody on socials, he can post up his thoughts on the CJGJ.
yep.
So yeah, first game this week. It's a Thursday nighter. We have Seattle traveling to Arizona to play the Cardinals. Both teams are 2-1. Seattle looked impressive last week, but I wonder how much of that was just their opponent.
Saints, yeah,
Yeah, Cardinals and Niners played a really close game last week.
walk off field goal.
Yeah, that was another trend of the week. It's either you're
Yeah,
blocking field goals or you're hitting walk off field goals.
a lot of
So,
close games at the end of the week.
yep. For this one, I am going to go with Seattle.
Okay. So I'm just gonna call out Brock's picks, and then I'll say mine. Um, Brock went.
We should have set up the other mic and you could just go over there and just
Brock went Seattle. I'm going Arizona. Um,
Okay,
I'm still not impressed by Seattle, so I'm going to go with Arizona.
gotcha. All right, so we actually have a Sunday morning game out in Ireland. The Minnesota Vikings are quote unquote visiting the Steelers in Ireland. Both teams are also 2-1. Steelers, I don't have a good read on them. It's like Rodgers looks good against some teams, but he played New England last week, and it's just he
Yeah.
couldn't get things going. They did come away with the victory, but it just wasn't as impressive as I thought it should have been. Um, I'm gonna go with our boy Carson Wentz and
Okay.
that defense in Minnesota.
Brock's also going with Minnesota. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. Um, I think again, bashing on Carson. I think Pittsburgh's going to take this one.
Sounds good. All right, so now we're getting into our 1 o'clock slate. We have the 2-1 Commanders traveling down to Atlanta to play the 1-2 Penix Falcons. You got to go Commanders here. It's like the Falcons have not impressed me at all.
Yeah, Brock and I are both going Washington as well. Mariota performed last week, so
Mhm.
I think that he's going to be able to take Atlanta, especially after watching them last week.
Oh yeah,
They they
Penix
looked
looked like shit.
absolutely atrocious, so I don't see
Unless
any
they're
reason to
playing,
pick Atlanta.
unless they're playing Kirk Cousins as just the revenge game. Like I don't see them
Yeah,
having a
and I
shot.
mean, Jaden may play, so who knows if it's gonna
Yeah,
be
even more
Mariota, I
so.
guess,
Right.
but, I think Washington's got it with Mariota or with Jaden.
Yep. Saints 0-3, traveling to the 3-0 Bills. I think everybody's going to be chalk here. I want to say that this is the highest um, spread since I can't remember what date it was or how long ago it was, but they're like 16.5 point favorites.
Phew.
So, yeah, I'm going to go the Lions or Bills. I'm
Lions,
sorry,
I was gonna
Bills,
say,
Bills,
hold on.
Bills. I was
Yeah,
looking too far down.
Brock and I both gonna go Buffalo. This should be everyone's survivor pick if they didn't take him already.
Yeah.
Buffalo over the Saints, I don't see, them falling in this game.
Yep. Now we're getting into the Lions. The Cleveland Browns 1-2 going to Detroit to play the 2-1 Lions. So we talked about the Browns defense. They off and on games. Week one look defense looked great. Week two against Baltimore, not so much. Week three against the Packers, they look great again. Kind of held them to in, um, you know, put them in check. I think this Lions offense is just too much for even that Cleveland defense, and I don't think Cleveland's offense is going to be able to like.
Score.
They might be able to hold Detroit to 21 points, but I don't see them scoring more than 14,
Yeah.
10. So I'm going Detroit here.
Yeah, Brock's going Detroit. I'm going Detroit as well. I think after Monday night's performance, Detroit's offense is clicking.
Mhm.
Cleveland again, I don't see anything good out of Flacco to show, even though they beat Green Bay last week. But I don't think that that was very like of a very good assessment of how good their team is. I
Right.
think that Detroit's going to bounce back and just probably blow them out.
Well, before we get to the next one, how many more weeks do you think it's going to be before they do a quarterback change? Whether it's Dylan Gabriel,
It's
you
going to be
know,
Gabriel next. I think it's probably going to be two, maybe week 5, week 6. But at the end of the day, like they're not competing, and their coach, I don't think, is really worried about his job. I think Stefanski's probably got a little bit of more job security than like Dable does with the Giants at this point.
right?
So I think that you can still ride Flacco. I mean, obviously they got a win already,
Yeah,
so they beat one of the top teams in the NFC. So um, I would say if the offense doesn't turn around in probably like 2 more weeks, then it's going to go to the Dylan
try
Gabriel,
something. Yeah.
and then depending on how he does, maybe you'll see Shador by the end of the year.
Yep. No, I kind of agree. I think a couple more weeks, kind of see if they can put anything together. It's kind of odd because Flacco did look pretty good last year when he filled in.
Yeah, and
And
he's had that even 2 years ago with the Browns. He had like a like rejuvenation. Like he came
yeah,
back and was like, I'm still like 36 years old at the time, and he was balling out.
no, they are
And
missing Nick
then
Chubb this
he
year. So
left, went to Indy, and then didn't do well that great in Indy, and then now he's back in Cleveland.
yeah, yeah. So next game, we have the Carolina Panthers, who surprised everybody by destroying the Falcons.
Yeah, 30 to
one and
nothing.
1-2, traveling to New England to play the 1-2 Patriots. I am not going to jump on the hype of the Panthers. I'm going to go New England here.
Yep. Brock is going New England. I'm going New England as well. I am also like you, not buying into the hype of the Panthers. Um, I still think that Vrabel's a hell of a coach. I think that Drake May is a formidable quarterback. He's good enough. They should be able to figure it out, take care of business at home against Carolina.
Yep. Next matchup, the 3-0 Chargers travel to MetLife to play the 0-3 Giants. We kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. Jackson Dart's coming in for the start. We're not so much sure what we're going to see here, but I think Herbert is just on another level right now, and they're going to go 4-0.
Yep. Brock thinks the Chargers are going to win. I also think Chargers are going to win. Um, even if Russell was playing, I don't think it matters. I think if anything, Dart will help them.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
think that the
Yeah.
the score will be closer with Dart in than it would be Russell Wilson. So I'm going to
I
go.
I think it depends on which Russell Wilson you get. Like, if you get Russell Wilson that played against the Cowboys, then it's like, all right, it might actually be a
Yeah,
game. If you get Russell Wilson that played week 1 and week 3, then it's like, all right, they're getting,
yeah, getting
doors kicked
squished.
in. Yeah.
So yeah, Chargers all across the board there. It makes sense.
Yep. So we already kind of talked about the Eagles Buccaneers. I think I'm Buccaneers.
Yeah, Brock's Buccaneers. I'm Birds.
Yep. Another 1 o'clocker. We have the 0-3 Titans going to the 0-3 Texans. So I'm actually going to go. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say I'm going to go with a tie here. We're not going to have a win coming out of this one.
0-0 tie.
0-0 tie. No, I'm going to go with the Texans here. I think that they've played in a lot of close games and they just have found ways to lose.
Yep.
Um, I don't know what we get out of the Titans yet. I think Cam Ward's still kind of figuring himself out. So I'm going to go Texans at home with the W there.
Yeah, Brock's going Tennessee. I'm also going Houston. I think that Houston is going to figure it out finally. Not that it's going to be a great game. I think that it's just they are on the verge of like, holy shit. sound the alarms. Our team is done. We need to get rid of Stroud if they lose this game.
Yeah,
So I think that Houston's going to take this
yeah, kinda get back on track and, hopefully I don't know, we talked about it, it's like he had that sophomore slump, and it seems like he's never really kinda recovered from it.
one. Yeah, he was god awful last year. Not great this year.
Yeah,
So
and similar to Bryce Young had he had a little resurgence late last year,
at the end, yeah, after he got benched.
but then it's like, alright, it seems like you're right back into
Yeah.
the swing of things, so, um, yep, so moving into the 4 o'clock, time slot, we have the 3-0 Colts going to the 2-1 Rams. I think the Rams have a little, anger. I think they're gonna come out and kinda show everybody that, they kinda let one get away in Philly,
Yeah.
and unfortunately for our Colts friends, they're gonna catch a loss here. I think the Rams are just too much for the Colts at this point.
Brock's going Rams. I'm going Indy. They've punted once this whole season,
Yeah,
so the offense is rolling. If their offense can keep rolling, obviously, I think this is the toughest game that they've had this year.
yeah, oh, for sure.
Um, but I think that ride Danny Dimes always hot, man.
Hey, we'll take that. They'll put the
Jonathan
Rams at
Taylor.
2 and 2, and we already have the
Yeah.
tiebreaker against them, so, yeah, let's go Colts, but I'm just thinking the Rams are gonna get back right back on track. So then we have the 2-1 Jaguars traveling to San Francisco, so across the country. You'd think the Jaguars would be used to travel by now just because they go to London every freaking year
Yeah.
too.
Every
So,
year. Yeah.
going just across the country should just be like any other weekend. But they're playing the 3-0 49ers. They have a lot of injuries, the Niners. They're
They
finding ways
lost
to
Bosa.
win too. Yeah, they lost
They lost
Bosa for the
Bosa last
year.
week.
So I don't have much confidence in the Jaguars. So I think actually no.
Oh,
I'm going with the Jaguars here. I think Mac Jones, he's just kind of have we heard if Mac Jones or Purdy's gonna be back?
Purdy's has a chance of practicing, I think,
Okay.
but it's so early in the week. They're never going to make this determination until probably Friday. But I mean, Mac Jones, obviously, he played well their first game that they needed him to start. Looked awful last week.
Yeah.
They couldn't move the ball offensively. Um,
Yeah, I'm
but
going Jacksonville.
okay. So Brock's going San Fran. I'm also going to go with San Fran. It's just more of a lack on
Yeah, and
respect on the
that
Jaguars.
might just be more of me, "Hey, let me try to position the Eagles in a better position of, catching some losses here," but,
Yeah.
get them while they're not necessarily healthy.
I
So,
mean, it makes sense. Yeah. Like the
yeah.
Niners have had like a crazy amount of injuries already this year.
Right,
You
yeah.
lose Kittle, you lose Ayuk,
Mhm,
Jawan Jennings has had time off, Nick Bosa's out for the year, Purdy's been out, and they're still 3-0, right? So they're
mhm.
they're playing good ball,
Well, that's benefit of
but
having, like, the best what am I think what am I trying to say here? Strength of schedule. They have
yeah,
the
yes,
easiest strength of
easiest, yeah.
schedule. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I just think they'll get it done against Jacksonville. I just don't see,
Yep.
them at home with Mac Jones. I think is fine to be able to beat Trevor Lawrence flying across the country.
Mhm. Alright, so then, 4:25, we have the 1 and 2 Ravens against the 1 and 2 Chiefs in Kansas City. So we kinda talked about this. One of these teams is gonna be 1 and 3 unless they tie, which would just be
Mhm.
nuts, but I've already used my tie on the Titans and Texans, so I don't see that happening. You know, the Chiefs at least the Ravens have looked good this year. The
Yeah.
Chiefs have not looked good at all.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with the Ravens going 2 and 2 and putting the Chiefs in that 1 and 3 hole.
Yeah. Brock's taking Baltimore as well, and I also am going Baltimore. So I think you said it exactly how I would have. Baltimore has had chances to win these 3 games. They could be 3-0.
Mhm,
Unfortunately, they're 1-2. Um, but the Chiefs just they have not looked good until they get the receivers back. I don't trust them at all.
yep,
It doesn't look like it's going to be very good offensive performances. Pacheco can't run. Kareem Hunt's starting to kind of take carries away from him.
mhm.
And then it's just Kelsey
But
and
he's not a feature back anymore, so
yeah,
they need somebody
exactly.
to
So
complement him.
it's not great. So I think that, Baltimore figures it out, and, you know, I think that this maybe will lead to, hopefully, the playoffs where, no one can win in Kansas City except Joe Burrow.
Yeah. No,
So
I think
maybe
people are gonna have to
Lamar
be
will figure
going
it out.
through, Buffalo or maybe even, Chargers.
Yeah.
whatever fucking city they're playing in nowadays.
Los Angeles, yeah.
Yeah, which is about they're in Los Angeles now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So next game we have the 1-2 Bears traveling to Vegas, another team that likes to change cities, against the 1-2 Raiders. So 425 game. Bears had an impressive win last week. I still think we are all kind of guessing at what the Raiders are going to be. Um, I'm going to go with the Bears here just because I think they're going to ride that high and go on a little run here.
Yep. Brock's going with the Bears as well. I'm also gonna go with the Bears. I don't think Vegas, they're not impressive.
Until they
Caleb has the
prove,
best game of his probably career last week. I
yeah,
think that he's gonna continue to hopefully get the offense rolling,
yep,
get back to that hype that they have of him as being the number 1 overall pick
yep.
and kinda right the ship a little bit, but
Yeah, until the Raiders prove it to us, it's going to be
yeah.
hard to kind of go out on a limb and say, yeah, this team's going to
Yeah, and I mean,
win.
even
And
Chicago, like, they just had a great performance against the Dallas team,
yeah,
so that's maybe why we're probably kind of saying it's better than it might have been.
yeah, because I mean, 2 weeks ago they got the shit kicked in by the
Yeah.
Lions, but I just think the Lions are that much better than.
Hey, Chicago put up 21 on the Lions.
Yeah, probably garbage time.
Yeah, for sure.
So didn't watch that game, didn't need to.
Yeah.
So then Sunday night game, we have what could be a good matchup. It's the Micah Parsons return. So I've already heard that there's not going to be a you
No
know
tribute
a
video.
tribute. Like
Yeah.
Jerry Jones just told him to fuck off.
Yep.
But yeah,
Rightfully so, right? Like,
I mean it
Parsons
goes
kind
both
of
ways. It goes both ways.
yeah, but
But
I mean, Parsons kinda, like, burned the bridge on the way out too, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not like he was out there like, "Oh, thank you so much, everyone. It's all Jerry Jones. It's not me." He was just saying, like, "You know what? I don't wanna play for y'all either."
yeah. Well, it's
So
like
so I don't think
everybody.
that he really deserves a tribute video for 3.5 years or
Yeah.
whatever his
And what
playing
Jerry
time
might
actually
say
was.
is like, well, it's only 2 years because he's
He was
injured
hurt,
half the
yeah.
time. Yeah.
So
So yeah, we have Packers traveling to Dallas. Packers didn't look impressive last week against Cleveland, but they've looked impressive for the first two games. Other
yeah,
than that, offense is rolling as long as Jordan Love is playing well. Um, Defense is good. Dallas Dallas's secondary has shown 2 weeks in a row that they literally can't cover anybody.
yeah,
Um, I am leaning towards as much as since we already have the win against Dallas in the division, and to get the Packers at 2-2, to take the Cowboys here and just kind of put the Packers, in the back seat a little bit more. Um, I'm going to go with the Packers. I think they're going to come away with the W.
okay. Brock also going with Green Bay. I'm gonna go with Dallas.
There
I
you go.
think this is going to be since it's in Dallas, I think the fans are gonna be ready. They're gonna be getting on Micah.
Mhm.
The Packers just lost to the fucking Browns. Like, I know Dallas, got blown out by Chicago last week, but the fact that Green Bay couldn't get more than 10 points against the Browns
Yeah,
is a big worry to me. So
which is
I
kind
think
of why I'm thinking they're going to get back on track, or
yeah,
whatever issues they had that week, they're going to hopefully be able to fix them being a
yeah.
legitimate playoff contender.
I just think Sunday night in Jerry World, I think Dallas is gonna pull this out, and then he's gonna have his little jokes about Micah. So
Yeah, that's going to go on podcasts and radio shows and talk about
I
how
was
smart
right.
he is. Yeah. So then, yeah, we have two Monday night games again, which is odd.
Yep.
But we have a 7:15 0-3 Jets going to the 0-3 Dolphins. It's weird how we have so many 0-3s that somebody's going to get a win unless there's a tie. But um, Jets Dolphins. This is a brutal game.
Monday night's not gonna be fun to watch. So
No, yeah.
watch anything else.
Anything
Maybe
else?
we'll
Yeah,
find
catch
some
up on some
baseball.
shows. Yeah,
Maybe some baseball will be
yeah.
playing.
The playoffs start on Monday. They don't. They'll probably start
They probably
Tuesday.
have off. Yeah, unless
They'll
there's a
probably start
play-in game.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Maybe the play-in game for
So
somebody.
yeah, catch up on those series that you put off all summer.
Yeah.
Monday night's not going to be a night to sit down and watch football unless you have bets that's going on. And I also don't
Good
suggest
luck betting these games.
betting on these ones. So,
Unders.
Jets Dolphins. So the Jets have looked okay in some games. They're
Yeah.
scoring points. Dolphins,
They
I
hung
don't
tight
know.
with Buffalo for a while.
They did. They did. And then Tua found a way to throw it to probably the
A
most
wide open
easiest
defensive back.
wide open defensive back. I love that. Yeah, this is like a coin flip in my mind of who's going to get it. I'm going to give it to the Dolphins for the simple fact that they're home.
Okay. Brock's also gonna go with the Dolphins. I'm gonna take the Jets. I think the Jets just look better at this point in the season.
Mhm.
Tua just looks absolute dog shit. Tyreek Hill, who knows if he wants to actually play or not. I'm gonna go with the Jets.
Yep. So, and then the final game of week 4, we have the Burrowless Bengals, 2-1 against the 1-2 Broncos.
Yep.
Um, Browning looked good 2 weeks ago. Last week, not so much. The Broncos, I think they found ways to lose. They could certainly be 2-1 at this point. Um, I think they have a better defense, and at this point, I think that they have a more formidable offense just based on, the not knowing what kind of quarterback you're gonna get out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go with Denver here.
All right. Brock is going Cincy. I'm going Denver as well. I think Denver's defense is still decent.
Mm,
They should be better than the way they're playing right now. And I think Bo Nix is going to outperform Jake Browning.
yep.
Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think Denver, it's probably again, you guys. I know everyone loves watching football, but that's gonna be a
Yeah.
rough Monday
Take
night.
take Monday off.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So good luck sledding through that. If you guys find some bets, feel free to reach out.
Yeah. Let us know
Anything you
what you're
guys think,
betting.
but I'm leaning the unders on those games.
So, yeah, let's get over to, so we're gonna transition back to baseball, but it's for our fantasy league. So, as we mentioned earlier in the, pod, we're in the final week of, the playoffs. So, up until this point, Cameron, you were playing, was it Tim?
I was playing Tim,
You were
yes.
playing Timbo, and then Kevin was playing Ethan.
Ethan, correct.
So, why don't you give us a breakdown of kinda how last week went and who made the finals?
Yeah, so Ethan was the 1 seed, Tim was the 2 seed, I was the 3 seed, Kevin is the 5 seed. So last week in the matchups, Kevin actually beat Ethan 5-4. Um, Looking through it, they tied on home runs. Their ERAs, Ethan's team got blown up. He had 76 innings with a 5.2 ERA. Kevin had 44 innings with a 2.84 ERA. So
It's
um,
impressive pitching.
with the way that this league, since we have like the very basic scoring stats, it's tough to really like blow somebody out.
Yeah.
And
A
it's
lot of
tough
it's like
to like a lot if you're winning, if you have a good pitching week, you're going to win. 5 categories most likely. So, um, Kevin's team had 3 of the pitching categories and then 2 offensive. They tied in home runs, so that's why Kevin pretty much advanced. Because if they tied, Ethan would have advanced to the finals.
right.
So
So it was what, 5-4?
5-4, yep.
Yep.
And then, so my matchup against Tim, I beat Tim. I won 6-4. I won all of the offensive categories. Tim had all the pitching categories, except I had wins.
And that was a
So
big Sunday performance out of you.
I stacked the rotation on Sunday, used those ads to get as many people as I could. Ended up pulling out 2 wins to take the wins category. So I won 6-5 in the win category and overall 6-4. So
Nice.
sets up a matchup between Kevin and I, our number 1 listener, and
Yeah,
me in
elite listener.
the
Elite.
finals.
Yeah.
Um, right now, Kevin's up on me 6-1. We're through the
2
first
days,
half
2
of
days. Yeah.
the Tuesday game. There wasn't many games on Monday, so we'll see. I've I've got 11 innings pitched with a 4.76 ERA, so that's not great. Kevin only has 1 inning pitched, and he has 3 strikeouts. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so good luck, Kevin.
Yeah. Good luck, Kev.
The winner of this matchup is going to be taking home the inaugural Fraud Street Fandom Podcast Fantasy Baseball League trophy.
Yeah.
So
So we'll present that, next week after we get the finale will kind of show everybody on YouTube if you're following there what it looks like. And yeah, we appreciate everybody joining. Obviously, the fantasy league. We're going to try to do these with we have a football, and we'll jump into last week's matchups there and kind of upcoming for between me and Cam. But yeah, we're trying to do more of this engagement, especially when it comes to like fantasy, like we mentioned before earlier with the MLB playoff brackets. We'll do one, for football, those types of things. So stay tuned. Feel free to join. It's all free, all fun, and you might win some prizes out of it. So,
Yeah.
as far as our football matchups go, so this week, I'm currently 1-2 going against Brandon, who's 0-3. So this week I was able to pull out the win, basically due to Jared Goff. I had Jared Goff, Mark Andrews, and Detroit defense. So the touchdown late that Andrews had in the fourth quarter basically put me over the top. I was able to come back and beat Brandon by 6 or 7. So basically that touchdown. Cameron, you're the 2 seed right now, 3-0. Yeah,
Yep.
that A+ draft grade, man. Looking, it's proving him right. Went up against Tyler, whose team name is D+ draft
D
grade.
plus draft grade.
So he's in
Maybe
the
Yahoo's onto something here,
yeah. They
guys.
might know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you ended up coming away with a 140 to 123 victory.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. My defense got me 14, so that's huge.
Yeah.
I was nervous because he had Amon St. Brown. I had him in a different league. So that was always kind of torn of like, man, do
I
I
want
want
him
him
to
to do
score, but
well?
not
Yeah.
enough to beat me. Yeah, that kind of thing.
But so then even in this league, in my other league, I was going against Josh Allen and Travis Kelsey, and I have Josh Allen and Travis Kelsey in our podcast league.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like, well, you kind of want them to go off, and you want someone else on their team to suck that you don't have.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, it ended up working out, but it my team is undefeated, but it has not been pretty.
Yeah.
Not necessarily blowing the doors off of everyone.
Hey, but a W
Um,
is a W.
exactly, yeah. I mean,
Call yourself the Baker Mayfields.
Sutton had 1.6 last week, and then this week 28.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
So then for everybody keeping score at home, Brock was going up against Kenny this week. Brock's 2-1 now with the victory. Kenny's now 1-2. Brock had 108 to Kenny's 99. So certainly
That's
not
tough.
a good showing there. Some other notable scores: Kevin scored 159. Timbo 155. Myself, I scored 143. So yeah, still way early in the process, but
Yeah,
similar to a baseball league, I believe 6 teams are going to make the playoffs, and we'll go from there.
yeah. And this just the standing. So Mike Davis is sitting in first place. He's 3-0. Kevin, our number one listener again.
Must be
So
elite
yeah,
fantasy guy
maybe he's
slash listener. Maybe we're giving out really good advice. We're just
yeah,
not taking our
exactly.
own advice. That must be what it is. So
Yeah. So I'm only 2 points away from first place. That's what's separating us. So I'm in second, Kevin in third. We're all 3-0. The rest of the league, there's 2-1 teams, and everyone else is we've got what,
so
6 or 5 teams that are 1-2, and then 2 teams that are 0-3. So, yeah, we'll see how the rest of the league shakes out.
yeah, who do you got this weekend? So I
I
have Tony.
I
So
have the first place team, Mike.
oh, there you go. Battle of the first place.
Yeah.
So I'm playing Tony, and then Brock is playing Timbo. So good luck to our listeners that are in the fantasy league, and hopefully y'all catch losses if you're listening to the podcast guys, or if you're playing against the podcast guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that takes us through the agenda for today. Again, thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate all the support. As we mentioned before, we are working behind the scenes on some merch. Looking forward to kind of presenting some of that over the coming weeks. So make sure you follow Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and things like that. If you see anything that you're interested in, want to kind of support the podcast, certainly reach out to us. We can get you some numbers and put some orders in. Go
Yeah.
from there. So
And, sorry about the anytime touchdown parlay. I really am slacking now. That's 2 weeks in a row that my guy has not scored, so I'll be better.
yeah, so look out for our bets. Hopefully, I don't think any of ours did this week. None of them hit. So hopefully we can put some bets together next week for you guys.
Yep.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Thanks. Cheers,
Cheers.
everybody.